Hi guys, welcome to a brand spanking new episode of the Hot Dog Wiener Fingers podcast. My name's Ryan Sausage Fingers Iliopoulos. I'm joined by Sparks. What's your name? Sparku Tazbuki.
My hands. They look like such big, strong hands.
I'm joined by Ben Wiener Snitchel Magnet.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I had the absolute weirdest dream during my nap today. It was not fun.
And Brandon T. Wiener McGiggles himself. Brandon T. McClure in the building.
Look at that. It's the giggles right off the bat.
T. Wiener McGiggles.
You gotta improv on the spot.
Oh,
you
man.
just don't. You never know what I'm gonna say.
His
Oh,
dummies
you nailed
haven't
it,
even
oh
taken
boy.
effect yet, and you're already making them laugh like that. My
Welcome
goodness.
to the 280th episode of the Fake Nerd Podcast.
I was
And we're
going
gonna
to
talk
say.
about a movie.
I was
20
gonna.
more to
Say,
300, baby.
I was gonna say about Ben. I was like, Ben, I had a wonderful dream today. Zendaya was in it, and the world is ending. So you know,
have a good dream
And-
or full dream, if
And
you're
hot
negative.
dog fingers.
And hot dog fingers.
Hot dog
We're
fingers.
talking about everything, everywhere, all at once. The newest pop culture sensation. Some would say just stop movies. They ended this week. They're done.
Cinema's done.
Cinema's done. Elden Ring, everything, everywhere. We're just done for the year. Let's end it. Anyway, we got stuff to talk about this week. But Brandon, why don't you start this mother truck off?
all right. While I subtly and quietly plug in my laptop that I definitely
Listen, for the audio
forgot.
listeners, they don't even know what's happening.
That's true.
This is a
All
mystery
right.
the entire way through.
Okay. Yes, we do have links in the description. There wasn't anything that came out from our channel. Things are a little hectic right now for us. Things have been recorded, so hopefully they go up this week. But we'll see what we can do. Or more accurately, Sparks will see what he can do.
I know. I was about to say, like, Brandon's saying, like, we'll see what we can do, but Brandon's just basically being like, we'll see what Sparks feels like doing this week.
No, we'll see what Sparks is able to do because Sparks and Ryan have a big move coming up this weekend, and it is very stressful to move house, especially when you're moving cities. So
True.
It's also stressful when you have work and an internship at the same time.
I quit my job.
And I thought my mental
Guys,
health was
You
about
know
to
what's
get
a great
shattered.
feeling? Not being paid for 9 hours of work to make a video
Oh,
that nobody's
yeah.
ever going to see.
That's
So good.
Listen, that's showbiz. baby.
that's what we do.
That's true.
I wish that it was on the level of what we do. I mean, it will literally never get released.
Listen, it's been destroyed in the fires of Mount Doom.
Well, we do have some links in the description. So real quickly on my end, oh shoot, I forgot to write this one down. Thank goodness I remembered it. Of course my Screen Rant stuff is there. I'm going to be putting up, you're going to be seeing a lot of Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff. Let's say hypothetically that Screen Rant has implemented a new structure that may be helping me. So I am looking for ways to get the most views from my stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Clickbait?
No, I wouldn't do clickbait, but I know that a specific topic gets more views than others. So I'm trying to figure out what gets the most views.
Zack Snyder got it.
Yeah, Zack Snyder. It is a tight line to walk because like I don't want to do clickbait stuff. But there are things like my Star Trek ones, they get like 30 to 100 people seeing them. My MCU stuff gets like 1,000 to 30,000 people seeing them. So like,
Yeah.
It's what it is.
The numbers
what
are
it is.
there. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And I get paid very little right now, so I'm just trying to get money.
I feel you.
But that's not to say I put 110% into everything I do.
That's
everything
good.
I do. Speaking of my, you know what? I'll just call it the final entry of my phase 1 for my Infinity Saga series. So as you know, I've been writing a series called Revisiting the Infinity Saga: 50 Defining Moments from the MCU. Entry 40, issue 40, number 40 went up this week. That's about the moment at the end of Age of Ultron where Captain America says Avengers, and then it cuts to black. Cuts to credits. I talked about that, and that's I'm going to be taking a break next week because I'm going out of town as well. I'm actually going to the same town that you guys are going to, but for a different reason.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come back will be kind of like an interlude. So I'm taking a bit of a break from the quote unquote countdown to do something else. But yeah, I really love doing that series. Can't believe I'm already on 40. This is the longest committed writing thing I've done. I hope people like it. I'm certainly putting a lot of my soul into it.
I've liked what I've read. I think I'm behind like 2.
Oh, that's fine.
Just
you got 2 people
to catch up. It's always just like I open it when it's out and you promote it and it's a tab and I'm like, okay, when I got time, I'm gonna sit down and really, because I want to actually read it, not just like skim it.
Sure, I understand. I appreciate that you do though. Okay, that's all for me. So Ben, let's talk about you.
Oh shit, what'd I do?
Well, Ben, I'm very disappointed in you. No, your Fusion magazine issue is still linked below. I've decided to link it again because it's a magazine. You can purchase it whenever you want, so it's going to be there. So you can check that. You don't have anything you want to add about that, do you?
No. Just be a little bit patient because I know the magazine physically is out. It's in customers' hands over in England. We're still waiting to get ours here in America, but of course, going from one continent across the ocean to another country and another continent, and then going all the way across that country, it's going to take a little bit. So just be patient, but it's there. I got paid for it, so yay.
Good job.
Yeah, that was a good feeling.
The other things you have are from Grayson Live's channel, our good friend Grayson, friend of the show. Your good friend Grayson, you put up, how do I want to phrase this? You put up 2 very frustrating episodes of Wheel of Fortune and 2 very fun episodes of Super Mario, whatever the hell.
You were frustrated with Wheel of Fortune? Try playing the damn thing.
Oh, buddy, I was yelling at the screen. Pick the F!
Oh, man, you and Omi-kun. So, on Grayson's channel, if you request a game, he more than likely will oblige. This game was a request from one of his viewers, and apparently we suck at Wheel of Fortune. The first time we just did a tutorial, we tried to play together, and then the second time we played against each other, which I actually didn't suck as much. But yeah, out of all the game show games, or out of the 2 game show games we played thus far, Wheel of Fortune is my least favorite. I like EO Party a lot more.
Just say Jeopardy. Just say Jeopardy.
Excuse me, Jeopardy. Yeah, I like Jeopardy a lot more.
Horrible running joke.
Out of the Ubisoft game show games.
Yeah, your Wheel of Fortune one was something, but I sat through them. They're fun to watch. You guys are fun when you're frustrated.
Yeah, especially when I push the wrong button multiple times.
Grayson really needs to calm down when it comes to Super Mario because he gets you killed a lot.
Yeah, well, also the depth perception gets us killed a lot too.
Not as much as him just going, "Here I go," and you're like, "No, wait!"
I'm like, "No, wait, wee!" There goes another life.
That's all the links below.
Great.
Who wants to?
Brandon, why don't you tell us about your week?
Sounds good.
Okay. Screw you. Let's see. I watched an episode of Halo. I don't really need to say anything. What I said last week kind of still stands. I think it's on a good direction right now. I like Cortana. I'm interested to see where it goes, and I hope it continues to get better. So we'll see what happens by the end of the show. I started The Gilded Age. If you don't know who that is, that's the HBO Max TV series, or probably HBO proper. That is made by the same guy who did Downton Abbey.
Another old white people show.
Yeah. There's a black person in this one, though.
I heard of it, but I had no idea what it was. But you said Downton Abbey, so I had to assume.
Yes.
I have seen that on the HBO Max app in a picture, being like, "Hey, you should watch this."
Hello,
I'm like,
I'm prim and proper,
and I'm like, "Yo, there's like 8 things in line before you on this app."
Bridgerton.
Our flag means death.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Honestly, if we didn't have to pack this week, Megan and I would have been watching it. But like, we kept being like, "Should we watch it now?" No, we don't have time.
Number 1 show on HBO Max, and they still haven't renewed it. Those bastards.
Even more than a Marvel show, which I couldn't believe. It's crazy.
So I started watching The Gilded Age. Actually, just today we watched the first episode. I really like Downton Abbey. I really enjoy this so far. I don't like the characters as much as I like the characters in Downton Abbey, but that's just kind of because I've sat with them a lot longer. Mm-hmm. So I'm far more excited for the new Downton Abbey movie than I am to continue the show. But it's still very good. I really like the characters. Taysa Farmiga is in it, which shocked me. Carrie Coon is in it, which she's great. Greg great cast.
Very
The
cute.
girl.
It's one of the reasons I want to watch it for sure.
What's the redhead from Sex and the City, Ryan?
The red, Catherine. I don't know
Samantha?
her. The actress, though. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
She
she's
ran
in
for, like,
it.
New York mayor or something.
Yeah, she's in it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very similar to Downton Abbey. It's written in a very similar vein. It's about 40 years before it. So it does it's dealing with different things. I like it. It's fun.
Cool.
I watched Spider-Man No Way Home. I finally watched Spider-Man No Way Home for a second time.
Yeah.
I've been dying to see this movie forever. And I finally got to the point where I was like, I'll just wait for the Blu-ray. Blu-ray came. No deleted scenes. Screw you, Sony. So it's
so rude.
Great. They marketed deleted scenes.
Apparently,
marketed.
I don't know if it was. I didn't look into it, but apparently deleted scenes are coming to something soon.
The rumor is that they're going to do a re-release in theaters in August.
I saw it was one of the streaming services or like something else was getting.
Which I'd be like, they wouldn't do that, and then I think back and I'm like,
Endgame
did that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Endgame did that with. They didn't put a deleted scene in the movie. They put it at the end of the movie.
Right, but I mean, like,
it was new
footage,
quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah. Besides that, really loved revisiting that movie. That movie rules. I adore that movie. I was so happy I got to watch it again and feel the same way I did back when I saw it in December. Catwoman Hunted is the latest DC animated film. I watched that this week. I actually kind of forgot I watched that. That has Stephanie Beatrice as Batwoman. I forgot who the girl who plays Catwoman is. I don't remember her name offhand.
I don't remember what you're talking about. Catwoman Hunted.
The anime Catwoman.
For it. So this is an anime inspired movie. Let's be clear. Like, it's not quite anime.
Right. It's not true anime.
Yeah.
It's pretty anime.
Yeah, that's definitely. I think it also is made by a Japanese company with a budget severely slashed. The animation is kind of the only issue. It's not as polished as it should be. Characters don't move as fluid as you would expect from the animation style that it's using.
Elizabeth Gillies from Victorious is Catwoman.
Other than that, though, I thought it was really fun. Black Mask is one of the villains in it. They have a really cool reinterpretation of Cheetah because she's just Barbara Minerva, like evil Barbara Minerva, who's running. Excuse you, I am busy. She's like running Leviathan under Talia al Ghul, and then she becomes Cheetah, obviously, because that's who the character is. Really cool interpretation of that. Tobias Whale, I think, is the character's name from Black Lightning.
Yes, Tobias Whale.
He's a crime lord guy.
Yeah, he's in it. A lot of cool stuff. I really enjoyed it. There is definite queer baiting when it comes to Catwoman and Batwoman, and that was a shame because I actually think a romance written in this style between the two would work, but it's very clearly done in like a Catwoman is like has like put Batwoman under her spell, like her like seductive spell, but she's very clear like no, you're not the Bat I'm in love with Batman. So I'm only using you I'm only using my woos because you're a lesbian. That was a shame. That was a big shame.
Like no room for interpretation that Catwoman can be bisexual. They very much keep her. She is a
bisexual in the comics.
Yeah, well, it's she's using her bisexuality to in not good ways. It's the bisexuality that of like I'll just sleep with anybody with anything. You know, it's kind of the bad representation of bisexuality.
Sure, I hear you, and I get that. I don't know that necessarily falls under queer baiting. Only because like I saw people. It was actually not related to this, but people were like really digging into this on Twitter. Like, we really need to not be loose with the term queer baiting. Queer baiting is not when you have two queer characters who you wish something happened between them and the
Oh,
story
sure.
didn't do it.
That's just them.
Queer baiting
yeah,
is when
that's
it's
talking.
two straight characters
Yes.
and they're playing to the idea that maybe it could be a thing, but it will never be a thing because they know that these characters are straight.
That's a very good point. Thank you for bringing that up. So then, yes, in that case, probably not. It was just unfortunate.
But it's the bad bisexuality representation that we've talked about before. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that killed the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a fun movie, good action. Like all the characters, I really like Stephanie Beatrice as Batwoman. I think she works really well as that character. I hope that she gets to reprise that role somewhere down the line.
Cool.
And then I watched. Oh, we finished Battlestar Galactica. We finally did some time to finish that show. I finally showed Zara my favorite show of all time. Still holds true. I love that show. Definitely see the cracks many years later. I don't think the last 2 seasons are as strong as the first 2. But I do think it's one hell of an ending. Those final 6 episodes are very good. It's just once they knew that the show was coming to an end, they just brought out all the stops. The budget is constantly there. There's political turmoil. It's some really good stuff. And I think it ends on a really good note. Apparently, I'm like one of 5 people who think it's a good ending.
I watched it as it was happening, and I did not like it. But it's also been 15 years, so who knows how I feel now? Because I watched it as a kid when it premiered, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've always felt it was a good finale. But I also understand that, like, I get why people don't like it. I just personally really like it.
Yeah. The show definitely takes a turn, and like you're either with it or you're not. At one point, I'm just like, part of me just never fully accepted it, but I stuck with it the whole way, and I still liked it. But like, you're right; those first 2 seasons are like some of the best TV ever made. And then like it continues to be a good show, but it's like, oh man, that second season though. It's when
they go hard into the fact that like
the faith stuff.
Yeah, it's when they go hard into the fact that like the first 2 seasons are very much like all of this has happened before, it will happen again. That's still there. That's still very prevalent in the thing of like how history constantly repeats itself. And then towards the middle of the 3rd season, they're just like, actually, the gods of Kobol are not real. They've never been real. God is real. He's always been real. The colonies are wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that I also rubbed up against at this time watching, becoming very much anti-religion. And I much preferring the gods of Kobol than I did like God. For those, this all sounds like gibberish for most people, but that's fine.
It's very much like a science fiction show that turns into like faith-based, and it's like that also could work in terms of science fiction like narrative, but like I think it's been a long time since I watched it. I thought it was very sloppy. But
I do think having Adama be there, because there's a line that Adama says in the end where he's just like, what is this, fate? I've had it with fate. And like he has this moment where he's just like, I'm done with this. I'm done with fate. And I think that helps the ending kind of land for me, where it's just like Adama just doesn't give a shit. He's doing what's right by his people, what's right by his ship. He does not give a shit about what any god has to say.
He seems true through the whole show.
Yeah. And he really does. And he's the best character in that show because of it. Really like that show. I'm glad I got to watch it. I think this is the 3rd time I've seen it all the way through. Yeah. And then I read a comic.
Brandon, you can see my Cylon. It's right there.
I know. Yeah. The original Cylon.
I have that.
I do too.
Yeah.
I also really like, speaking of, because they still have the original Cylon there. Is that the original or that's the new one?
That's the original. Yeah.
That's the original. I like how they incorporated the original Cylon designs from that original show into the new show. Mm-hmm. That they're older models. I thought that was a good idea. I read a comic book, and I have it right here. It's called Pacific Rim Blackout. I'm holding up a comic.
Is that new?
So it's new. It's a new Pacific Rim comic that came out, I think, about maybe a week or 2 ago. This is a prequel to Pacific Rim: The Black, which is the anime that's on Netflix. I didn't know this, but this is written by Kevin Scott.
Oh, the Star Wars guy.
The Star Wars High Republic guy.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah, I was like, because I was interested in this comic because I like that show. And basically, what this show introduces a fate of a character from the first film that I sad about. And then this comic is kind of that character. And so this comic revisits a character from the first movie who wasn't in the second movie. That's about as vague as I can be because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it.
I mean, I think I know who you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm writing a review for Kaiju Ramen for this. That's going to go up tomorrow, which is going to say who that character is. So if you don't want to know, it's not really a spoiler. I just don't want people to know that what happened to him in the show.
Yeah.
So really liked it. Kevin Scott wrote a really good Pacific Rim comic book. And apparently he's done 3 of them. This is his 3rd. He did the prequel comics to Pacific Rim Uprising. Awesome. Which I'm going to check out now because I didn't know that he did that. And I really like him. And I really like this.
Get it on till I die.
Nice.
There's some good action in it. I like the art in it. Very harrowing. There's some good depth. More depth of character than I anticipated. And I think if you're a fan of Pacific Rim, even without seeing the show, this is a good entry into that universe.
It's also, you said, a prequel, so like you don't even have to watch the show.
Yeah, it more acts as a sequel to Uprising than it does a prequel to the show.
I might, because I'm going to the comic shop one final time before I drop my pull list, and if they have it, I'll pick that up.
Yeah. I'll have more to say about it on my review. I'm dropping a review tomorrow on kaijuramenmedia.com, so check that out.
Nice.
That's my week.
Benjamin, it's your turn.
Oh shit! Okay, guess it is my turn.
Well, we thought we should wake you up, so it's all you.
Very funny. So my week, I did play a little bit of Elden Ring. Keyword there being a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot something.
Go for it.
I'm so sorry, Ben. I played a lot of Halo Infinite this week.
Good.
I played a lot of Halo Infinite this week. I really enjoy that game. I think the gameplay is a lot of fun. I still have the same issue, even though a lot of the map is open to me now. There is still a lot of repetitiveness with it, and I'm kind of frustrated with the fact that there are specific things you have, objectives you have to hit. Like, you clear out this bridge so that the UNSC can pass through it, and then the next time you go to that bridge, just a bunch of bandits people are back there because that's just how the game is, and it respawns all these people. And I'm like, I just cleaned this place up. Now I have to do it again.
Yeah, but now when you spawn at a base, you can get a pistol or something.
Well, that's the thing that I like about it are the fobs, because there are fobs that you can clear out, and those stay UNSC controlled when you do that. That's cool, and so it creates this fast travel system that you can do to go around the Halo ring that I enjoy.
For sure.
I just wish there was some more variety in the thing, but I am starting to get more into the story because I've explored the world, and there's these audio logs that have bits of the 6 months that you've been unconscious for. So you kind of fill in the pieces and you fill in the gaps. And so exploring the world and getting those pieces have helped me really just kind of piece together the story beats that I've missed. Also, I watched a 40-minute Halo lore video that helped me remind myself about not only the first 5 games, but also the Halo Wars games, which I'd never played. And Halo Wars 2 is very important to Halo Infinite.
Yes,
the Banished. Have you fought our friend Christopher Swindle yet? Bassus?
Bassus. I don't know if I've...
He's
what does he look like?
He's one of the brute bosses.
It's one of the brute bosses. Maybe I must have then.
Okay. He's one of the second or third named brute boss you fight. He's tough. He's all melee. Yeah, he talks like this, yeah.
Oh, maybe not then.
Really good.
I'll have to check. I'll have to go through my files again.
They all have similar like Bassus, Brutus, Brutaxis, Biloni.
Yeah. I kind of like the boss system a little bit because some of them are just this grunt's a boss, and you're just okay, he's dead. Yeah, I enjoyed the game immensely. And hopefully the story continues to be good or at least gets better, because I am kind of engaged in the story at this point. But yeah, okay, that's my week.
Love it. Cool. Ben,
all right.
You played a little bit of Elden Ring.
Yeah, very, very minuscule. I streamed on Tuesday morning, and that's all the Elden Ring I was playing, because the most of my time this week, my attention for video gaming was turned to a game I picked up to review for Go Nintendo. That review is coming out soon. And also, guys, as much as I love Elden Ring, and truly, Elden Ring is an amazing game, 10 out of 10, very high up on the game of the year.
Other games.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land is also really, really good. It's really fun. And this is probably going to be one of those games where I want to try and get 100% completion my first go through instead of putting it down and maybe coming back to it, because it's actually really fun playing that game. And also it's really fun playing co-op with Fanny. So I have to say,
I hear maybe it's fine because you guys are just like goofing around. I hear the co-op in this game isn't very good.
The co-op in this game, okay,
like the second player basically does nothing. Is what I hear.
The second player is definitely I will say that the co-op, and also the reason why I'm having such a fun time is because I'm playing with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she is okay with the role that she is beginning. I mean, she was bummed that she wasn't able to absorb abilities like Kirby does, but at the same time, she helps me find hidden paths that maybe I haven't seen. But you're absolutely right. The co-op is kind of meh, because it's definitely like it's a younger brother or younger sibling role. Whereas here, I will give you the stuff to do, but it doesn't, as long as I do it or as long as it happens, I'm the one who gets the credit. Like there's
it's for the gaming partner who's not adept at video games.
Yeah.
Whether that be like my fiance or a child.
Yeah, definitely that. It's think of it as when you were a kid playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and your brother and your younger sibling runs in and you're like, "Oh, I want to play." So you hand them the controller, and even though they're not really affecting what's going on, they still are technically playing. It's kind of like that.
Everything you described to me is utterly unrelatable, but go ahead.
Okay. So
I'm an only child. What do you want from me?
I'm also an only child. Brandon didn't play Sonic.
Never mind then. So all right. So here's a scenario that has happened. So in the boss fights, there are these like little missions you can do during boss fights, as in like, oh, defeat the boss with this ability, or defeat the boss without jumping, hovering, or my personal favorite, defeat the boss without taking any damage. As long as Kirby is the one who doesn't take a hit of damage, but but the co-op can take as much damage as they want, you still get the point.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it's definitely like that. But outside of
it truly is Tails. Like Tails can die. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, as long as Kirby's okay, you're fine. But
how's your mouth? How's mouthful? You putting
it's
your
actually
mouth
kind of fun. It's actually really fun. It's
How
actually
many
really
things you put your mouth on, Ben?
What?
Listen, I've seen a vending machine. I've seen an escalator. Kirby's putting his whole mouth on an escalator. Kirby, you know how people are walking on that thing?
I've seen Ben put his mouth on an escalator, a vending machine.
A car. Well, we all knew about the car, but
everyone puts their mouth on a car, though.
I mean, yeah, Kirby. I mean, yeah, the co-op mode isn't the best, but it's really fun to play. It really is fun exploring. It's really fun finding all the hidden Waddle Dees. It's really fun seeing the town grow the more Waddle Dees you find.
Did you say the hidden wall of D's?
No, Waddle Dees.
Okay.
They waddle.
After all this mouth talk, I had to be sure.
No, it's fair assessment.
Plenty of D's go in the mouth of Kirby for
Plenty
sure.
of D's nuts too. Sorry, Ben. Sorry. Listen, honestly, if I had a Switch, I would have probably bought Kirby by now. It's getting really good reviews, and it's like, hey man, it's like another like good Mario Odyssey. Like, it's a winner.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, Kirby in the Forgotten Land is it's actually the first time Kirby is into full 3D. The levels are fully 3D. I mean, people say, but it's Crystal Shards. Like, no, it was still technically a 2D platformer, just with a 3D polygon set to it.
Kirby's Epic Yarn was like the cutest thing ever made.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kirby will always have like a soft spot of like, hey, you want to play this a really fun, like not too challenging game? Like, there you go, have some fun.
Honestly, that's what I love about it. Because while Elden Ring is like, you have this grand challenge. Like when I left off in Elden Ring, I got up to the Atlas to the Altus.
I don't want every game to be Elden Ring. That would be a nightmare.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare.
I want like one Elden Ring a year. That like break my face like once a year. Like
so. Okay, so here's the thing I was gonna say about that, Ryan. So with Elden Ring, it's like I accomplished something. I'm exploring a new region of the map. I'm finding new things. I have tackled a new challenge. This is like here. There's this daunting task in front of me on the Atlas Plateau. I'm like, oh man, shit's gotta get wild. I need a break. And Kirby's the break. It's like, oh look, it's cute. Oh, and it's like, hey, it's actually really fun and it's not stressful. And it's like, man, it just makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside.
I'm glad it's good.
Yeah, so definitely been playing some Forgotten Land. That was really fun. I went to Frankenson's over the weekend. and I unfortunately they did not have the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 poster that I wanted, but I did get a sealed copy of Sonic Generations for my PS3, so we're all good there.
You still have your PS3? Cool.
Yeah, I have a dude. That PS3 is the one that my coworker gave to me.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Generations is one of the games I had for my Xbox 360, but unfortunately my Xbox got the red ring of death, so I can't play it anymore. But now I can.
But you'll get an Xbox One or Xbox Series S in the future, and guess what? That disc will still work on it, and it'll look even better. Saying as a person who has played Sonic Generations on his Xbox One, and I can attest, it does look better.
Look at that technology.
That's good. And then today I went and saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, and that's what we're reviewing today. So that's my week.
Woo!
Cool. Right. Do you want to go first or me?
I'll go because I beat Elden Ring last week, but like it still got its grip on me. But it's finally starting, it's finally starting to release the clasp, right?
Is Cyberpunk starting to call you again?
No, but because I will get back to Cyberpunk, but I did load up Cyberpunk. And I remember I was in the middle of a pretty, I'm not near the end game, but I'm getting into it. So it's like, I was in the middle of a mission, doing real stuff. And I came back in and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know the controls. I tried to play Fortnite. I also didn't know what I was doing, guys. It was so funny because I've been playing nothing but Elden Ring for a month straight, nothing but Elden Ring. So I go to play Fortnite and I'm hitting circle to dodge. That's not what you do in Fortnite. I'm hitting the stick to run. I'm like, that's not what's happening. I'm crouching. What's happening here? I was all goofed up. But then I played some matches with Sparks and Marty and Sam, friends of the show. And the first match we played, we got a victory royale because we're pro gamers. Yeah. That new season, that game just keeps getting better and better. Truly, I can't believe every season, they've added sprinting to Fortnite and they've added mantling. So when you go over a cliff, you'll jump over the cliff, right? Instead of just run into it. And those two small things, which are in a lot of modern shooters, first and third person, just make that game feel so incredible. And there's the no build mode too. So you can just focus on just being a pro gamer. And bro, we're pro gamers. I feel good. Playing that game is so good. And there's new weapons.
They got the new thermal scope. Right?
They got a cool scoped weapon that's thermal like the Predator. And I love the bow. The bow is my favorite weapon in that game. This might be my new favorite.
So
I was shooting fools it was fish in a barrel.
We got
thermal scope's really good.
Area. And all the other people that weren't us were in a little chasm of buildings, and we were all on the cliff. And Ryan has the thermal scope rifle. He's like, "Oh, they're all dead. They're all gonna die."
Have you guys seen the movie Sin City? And it's the scene of all the women of Sin City shooting down and all the cops, and they're just getting obliterated. That was us in the video game. It was the high ground. We had the high ground so bad. Fortnite is so fun. I can't wait to get back more into that season. I will get back into Cyberpunk. I am still playing Elden Ring. I am finding all the talismans that I haven't done, all the secret bosses that I haven't done. Still helping people, but not as much. I jumped back into No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is the game that every couple months has a brand new update. I love Sean Murray. Sean Murray, who is the founder of Hello Games, he runs their Twitter account, and their Twitter account is very sparse with updates. They'll be like, "Oh, here's a great screen grab because it has No Man's Sky has a really good photo mode, right? It takes beautiful pictures." So he loves to retweet photos, but that's about it. But every couple months, he'll just post an emoji. And everyone's like, okay, this means it's a new update's coming. And it's always the next week something comes out. So last week, he put up a pirate flag. And everyone's like, Sean, what does this mean, Sean? Pirates? What does that mean? And it's yes, we're bringing pirates to the game. So there are now outlaw space stations. There are outlaw ships. You can now have squads. So instead of you just being a solo flyer, you can have Star Wars Squadron style, multiple ships that you can control basically. They added a new base building. They added smuggling. So you can go to these outlaw stations. And if you buy smuggled items and bring them to regular space stations and don't get caught, you will get 10 times the reward because you're actually smuggling. And you can make a lot of money that way. So that's what I spent all day doing today is being a bad person in this game where you're not allowed to be a bad person. And it's guess what? Now you can be an outlaw bandit guy. And I'm like, God bless you. They added bounties to the game so you can go and hunt people down. And I'm like, man, they took me out and I'm right back in it.
I'm always amazed at the success story that No Man's Sky became.
And I just on the PlayStation main page, you have all the games that you recently played, and I look at Avengers, and Avengers keeps going further and further down the list. And I'm like, No Man's Sky is a small team of like they're like a dozen people. They probably expanded since then, but that game started with like a dozen people. And every couple months, they revolutionize that game the same way Fortnite does with hundreds of people. And I'm just like, how is Avengers doing this to its fans? Like, I know making video games is really hard. Like it's in a pandemic, but when there's so many other studios doing these incredible things, I'm just like, this one's just done.
Yeah, they just don't live up to the
I wanted to believe in Avengers so hard, but like we are this Wakanda came out like 6 months ago. That was the last cool big update, and I'm like,
yeah, I saw you retweet that they announced like a new costume, and you're just like, great. What am I supposed to do with this?
Literally every week, there's a new MCU costume. Last week it was the Spider-Man No Way Home costume, and this week it was the original like Thor. And I'm like, man, looks great. What am I gonna do with it?
Yeah,
like maybe
sucks.
put those resources somewhere else. Like I don't make games. I know it's hard, but like I just feel so bad for that game because I tried so hard, but like I keep coming back to it, and there's just nothing to do.
Great campaign, but
great campaign. And now that studio is moving on. Still working on Avengers. We'll see, but they're gonna make a new Tomb Raider game. So like,
That's right.
So Avengers, I think, is in a final death nail, and that makes me really sad. And then everything else I did this week, I did with him, basically. No Man's Sky is great.
All right. I started most of what I'm about to say that I watched while I was packing. First thing is that I started watching Sonic Boom because Brandon had a conversation with me about Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons, and I was like, I guess I should just go watch some Sonic Boom.
That's got like
That'd be a good like packing
the great theme song, right?
No,
which one? Sonic Boom.
10 a.m.
What the? Sonic Boom's in the. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, so Sonic Boom is like the newer cartoon. It was based off the like reimagination of Sonic and his friends, what they look like and everything, and that game landed to mixed success depending on who you were. But the cartoon is cool. It's definitely aimed at the young audience, and you can feel it. But there is some pretty humorous writing that I picked up on. Yeah, even in the first few episodes,
he has a cool bandana. Oh, it's not gonna work. That's
Sonic's got his cool bandana. Knuckles is really, really, really tall.
He's
and
like
big.
The Rock.
Yeah.
Yes, Knuckles that you can actually see his fingers.
It's a very different interpretation, but it's cool. I like the humor. It's entertaining. It's a good like background show for sure. Because I'm not a child, so not everything about it is like A+ content to me. But and like that's me being a little reductive. It's not as fully fleshed out with story as like other cartoons that I would watch, like Craig of the Creek or something like that, where I'm like, there's a lot of meat here, even if you're an adult to chew on for what it's doing with its characters. And like Sonic Boom's not on that level. Sonic Boom is more on the like, there's some pretty witty humor here, but this is mostly aimed at like the younger generation. And that's okay. So I watched a little bit of that, and that was fun. But I also had really been having a craving for a while to watch the Lego Batman movie because of the Batman and talking about it and thinking about it. And I was like, I want to go back to the Lego Batman movie. So I went back to the Lego Batman movie. And to the surprise of nobody, that's still a great movie.
Something in the Lego.
Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman for like 3 lines in Lego Batman. I'm hacking in, meow meow.
I forgot about that line.
Yeah, I forgot until I saw it too. I forgot she said meow meow at the end of every sentence.
Thank you for flying MacGuffin Airlines. We're going over Gotham City right now.
There's the joke in that film that I always remember. I can't recite it, but it's because Zach Galifianakis is the Joker, and he's hijacking the plane, and and he lists off all of Batman's villains, and he's just like, "You made some of those up." No, I didn't.
Google, yeah.
Condiment King.
I also love when he's like, "I'll be taking over the city," and he's like, "What do you mean? Batman will stop you?" No, this is a foolproof plan. And he's like, "What about the 2 boats?" And then he's like, "This is better than the 2 boats." I love that pilot. Lego Batman's still a banger. Highly recommend revisiting it. And I finished Lego Batman while I was packing, and I was like, "Hey, you know what? I want to watch the Lego movie." So I watched the Lego movie.
Good movie
Guys,
too.
It's still a banger. It's great. And I finished the Lego movie while I was packing. I think you see where this is going. I watched the Lego movie part 2, the second part, and really enjoyed that. That one was the first time I'd watched it again since theaters, and I forgot how solid of a sequel that was. Yeah. Like I knew I enjoyed it. I remembered, but I didn't remember like how much I enjoyed it. I didn't remember that there was a whole song where she's tricking Batman into marrying her called "I'm Just Not That Into Gotham City Guys." Forgot all about that song.
Is that Tiffany Haddish?
Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot all about the bit where Bruce Willis is in the vents, and it's like, "I just like hanging out in vents. It's not like I live here. I have a home. just keep going.
That's all right.
Great rule of 3 Bruce Willis bit in there. God.
That he voiced, right?
Yes, that is Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Just a lot of fun. That movie is a lot of fun. Solid follow-up to the original. I forgot all about this song is gonna get stuck inside your head. What a great time.
This song's gonna get stuck inside you. This song's Now it's stuck in my head. You just said that.
Yeah. I really enjoyed just having those on again while I was doing some packing. Just great. Good time. Yeah. Very happy. It made me sad all over again that like the Lego franchise just kind of died.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't want them to like make one all the time, but I definitely didn't want them to just stop.
They made Ninjago.
Ninjago I enjoyed too.
Yeah.
It's definitely like the bottom of the 4,
but it's not bad.
Still enjoyable, still a great time, and I have no investment in Ninjago, and I still enjoyed that movie. So
that movie has my favorite joke in all the movies, which is what about surprise? No, that's Fuchsia Ninja. Surprise.
That's a very good joke. You're right. I do want to acknowledge, hey Mag, hey Grayson, thanks for being here.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
So yeah, it just made me sad all over again. Just like rewatching in like Queen Whatever Wananabe is when you can see like the thumb smudges on her plastic. That's how good they did of the animation. And I'm like, man, they should make more Lego movies, even if it's not like a Lego movie part 3, like just more diverse Lego things. I want more of that. That was fun. I want those kind of parodies. So it's a bummer.
I forgot something else I did real quick. A new comic came out involving the X-Men, and it was called X-Men 92, House of 92. It is the Krakoa version of X-Men 92. That is basically a 90s retelling of Hoxpox. Really fun. I was gonna say refreshing, but it kind of was refreshing because most of like the Hoxpox stuff, even like the Dawn of X stuff now is like kind of like serious stuff. But like it's like watching that 90s cartoon.
It's like
you're reading
90s
Hoxpox.
Cartoon, like not. I don't mean it in a mean way, but the watered down.
Yes, no, like it is like it's Wolverine going, I'm gonna get you, bub, and Storm going, oh my goddess, like it's all that shit, but like it hit nostalgia, like it could have been really bad. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. So we talked about Brandon, who the mystery character who is going to be, because it was like it wouldn't make sense to make it Moira because Moira is like not a new character. I didn't remember what happens in that show. There's a character who dies in that show. And I'm not going to say who it is, but there's a character who dies in that show that I don't remember. And they're the character who comes back and she is the new Moira. And she's a different X-Men character. So it is the same story, but in a fun, different way. So if you're into that idea, definitely pick it up. The art is great. It is like, remember, I complained about Marauders art last week. It was a little too cartoony. This is the perfect amount of cartoony comics where I still like it. Really, really enjoyed it.
I have a question for you, and then I have a question for Grayson. So for you, Ryan, did you watch any more of Our Flags this week?
No, not yet.
Okay. And then Grayson, what is Pooter? Pooter was great for Lego Batman, R.I.P. Robin?
Does Michael Cera play a character named Pewter?
Michael Cera plays Robin.
Yeah, Michael Cera plays Robin.
He's saying Pewter was great for Lego Batman.
Oh, I don't know.
R.I.P. Robin.
I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
I don't.
Grayson, if you can elaborate, that'd be great. Thank you.
Anyway, let's see. Where am I? Oh yeah, I watched a couple more episodes of.
Oh, Computer was great for Lego Batman.
What?
Computer was great? Is there a computer? You watch Lego Batman?
Yeah, there's a computer character like that.
I think that's what he's talking about.
That he talks to is his computer, but like.
Does it kill Robin?
No.
Anyway.
We're still confused, Grayson.
Right,
What's mine?
Go ahead, Sparks.
Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, I watched a couple more episodes of Cowboy Bebop in my rewatch of the anime, which is just kind of when I have like 20 minutes and I can sit down and just watch it. That's the anime I'm watching right now, so I'm back on my rewatch of Cowboy Bebop.
Space Cowboy.
It's obviously still good. I just wanted to do a revisit. It was all triggered by the live action show, but now I'm just like doing it at my own pace. It's just nice to revisit because it had been well over a decade since I watched it.
Yeah.
Solid show. I forgot all about the episode where it just looks like the crew dies And then they do the like next episode preview, and it's like, well, there's no more show. And it's like showing the images from the next episode, but the narrations are like, that's it, that's the end. You don't find out what happens. And I'm like, they just literally didn't resolve that. It's
That's
just
fantastic.
like you just pick up on the next episode. I'm like, is that like a what if episode? They just like died. I forgot about how that ended and everything. Like I did not retain that. That's the one where there's like a fungus ooze thing that's making biting everyone and making them sick.
Oh my god, I had nightmares about that episode for years after I watched that.
I forgot that it was never resolved in the end. That it just ends at like, yep, they all kind of got screwed.
You know, I watched that. I think that was airing around the same time that the first Toonami event invasion was happening. And like so in my head they became like one amalgamous thing.
Yeah.
Okay, Grayson
Ben, can you pull it up?
Computer was referred to as Pewter. Yes, that was very funny. It was a good engagement between Batman and Pewter. All the stuff they do to accommodate. I disagree. I enjoyed Michael Cera's like Dick Grayson for the Lego Batman world. I felt it fit right in for what they were doing. It's not a serious take on Robin. I thought it played very well. Yeah. Personally. Lastly, Ryan made a special request of me as we are about to not be living in the same place for a few months. And he said, before we're not together anymore, I want to send us off with...
We watched all The Sopranos in 1 week.
I want to send us off with the Evangelion rebuilds. So we've watched Rebuild 1.111. You
cannot... You are not alone.
You are not alone. You are not alone.
Yeah.
We watched 2.222. You cannot advance. And 3.333. You cannot redo. And before the next 24 hours are over, we'll have done the last one.
We have watched the first 15 minutes of 3.0 plus 1.0.
I'm so happy I can say this now and you actually know. How crazy is that third movie?
Oh, yeah, insane.
Insane.
Yeah. It's wild to me that you got to the rebuilds before I did, but I'm not mad about it.
Hey, we got to do it again for our 300.
You borrowed my Blu-rays for those, right?
I did.
Yeah, okay, so it's real weird to like just already to have go back to the old cast for the last one. Because it's the Netflix cast for the Funimation dub Blu-rays. The Amazon dubs brought back the original voice actors from the old show, which is cool, but who boy that Ray doesn't hold up at this age.
She sound like I would say a lot of the cast is comparable. Like they sound similar enough and they're all good. But Ray
noticeable.
Totally just different.
Age is noticeable. I remember what Ray sounded like because I watched the original like last year or 2 years ago. And you just hear the age in it.
Did you watch the previews? Because at the end of there's previews for the next movie.
Yes.
I love that the preview for the third movie that's in the second movie has nothing to do with the third movie.
Right, because they hadn't made it. I mean, like the only one thing is, I don't want to say because Ben hasn't seen it yet. Yeah. But Ben's gonna have to see it soon because guess what? Our 300th episode is coming up soon, guys, and you know what's happening. Yeah. We're going back. We're going back to Evangelion.
We're rebuilding it. Don't worry, we'll meet again. Don't worry.
I can't wait to watch those again.
So yeah, I got an Evangelion tattoo. I think these movies are really good. I think the show obviously is like, if you're gonna watch anything, just watch the show. But like these are really incredible to watch because it is a good representation of Evangelion, but it's also eventually a completely different story. 100% not even the same thing.
I honest to God don't know if you can watch the rebuilds and
without watching
get as much out of it without they expect you to fill in so many context clues for what's going on. I don't know that like you could enjoy them. Yeah. I don't know if you would really like them. Yeah. Because I think you have to know the context, the history.
With certain characters and stuff,
especially there's instances in the beginning of the third one where you're just kind of like, yeah, you get this, right? And you're like, not really.
It's like Ryan and I talked about like there's a new girl introduced at one point, Ben.
Yes.
The new girl for me up to this point is kind of a nothing character to me because she's not explored enough. And I'm like, I guess in the context of these movies, she's explored about as much as Asuka is, but they give me everything to say that everything I learned about Asuka in the show is still true. So I'm carrying that over. And so I feel like Asuka is fully explored.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't feel that way about the new girl.
Well, we still got 2 hours and 10 minutes to see how that gets explored.
Yeah.
Animation's great. I will say this is one of the best uses of mixing 2D and 3D animation, because there's a lot of 3D animation in these movies, but it looks good. It looks so good.
Again, the key is mostly for technological things, or like the way they invent the angels and that kind of thing. Like when you're using it, it's 3D. I think is always at its most problematic in anime. I think it's always at its most problematic with humans.
Yeah,
I think that's when it always looks a little funky. Still kind of bummed that that's the way we're going with the Dragon Ball Super film.
It's unfortunate.
I still think 2D is like, especially in anime, you're always going to look better in 2D.
There's just some stuff happening that happens in the third movie, and even the beginning of the fourth movie that we just saw, where like the 3D is almost necessary for this kind of stuff that they're doing. Like there's like seriously like Tokyo drifts happening with some of this mech shit, and it's like it's so cool. It's like the end of Brandon, like end of that third movie, there's just like, you think end of Evangelion's insane, bro? Like they're just like hold my instrumentality beer. Like that third movie is so stupid insane. I'm like, this is. I love it. You're like Logan feel. Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about these movies in depth, because I want to say so much shit, but Ben, I don't want to spoil anything for Ben.
Right.
It's
coming soon, guys. We're 20 episodes away, so very soon, not 20 weeks exactly, because we already know we're skipping next week.
26 weeks.
You will hear us very soon. So this is your warning, listeners. Watch Evangelion, watch End of Evangelion, watch the rebuilds. Yes. We're coming for you.
And then watch our episode, was it 200?
We're going to see you in the ring!
It was to episode 200 where we talked about Evangelion for 5 hours.
Hell yeah, baby.
Get ready for more.
We're going to beat that time, baby.
We're going to start at noon. We're going to end at
midnight. 6-hour podcast. 6 hours.
Well, actually, technically, we talked about it for 3.5 hours. The news took over 2 hours.
Yeah. 6 hours.
I wonder if we should do just a 12-hour live stream.
I don't know about that, but what we'll do is we'll just live stream and we'll just go until we stop.
Oh my God. If we did, though, what we would do is we would just live stream us watching the rebuild film.
No.
It ends. We have a 2-hour discussion dissecting it. We start the next one. 2-hour discussion.
48-hour podcast.
This thing clocks out at 7 hours, so I don't think we can make it.
God.
We just do it in 2 parts.
That's true. All right. Anything else, Sparks?
Ben's like, I will be dead.
Listen, those movies they're not that long.
Ben's like, we're 52 minutes into this one and I'm already under the ground.
Wait. The third one is longer than all 3 of them.
No, it's not.
No,
the fourth one is.
The third one's the shortest one, actually.
Fourth one. I'm sorry. I forgot there's 4.
The third one's actually the shortest. It's 96 minutes.
Yeah, the fourth one is like 2.5, right?
Yeah.
The fans want it. Look at Grayson.
10-hour podcast.
Grayson, you're not helping.
Okay. Shall we get into our bread and butter then, Sparks? If you have anything else?
Absolutely.
Yum, yum,
I'm done. Yeah.
Yum in my tongue.
All right. Oh, I'm so excited to talk. Anyway.
You're telling me there's 2 spears of Longinuses? Sorry, I can't.
Oh, baby. I want to say so much shit. Okay. I need to purge myself of Evangelion because we have some sad news up top.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Did Cruel Angel write their thesis?
They did, unfortunately.
Liz Sheridan passed away this week. She is most known for Alf, and she was Seinfeld's mom in Seinfeld.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have very limited familiarity with Seinfeld, but I know who we're talking about now.
I love Seinfeld. That's the only role I know her from, I think.
Yeah.
All the Seinfeld parents are kicking it recently. It's awful.
Yeah, except for is Ben Stiller's dad? No, Ben Stiller's dad's still alive, right?
No, he passed.
We talked about it
on the podcast.
Oh man. Oh yeah. So they're all gone.
Yeah.
They're all gone. Wow.
Last year, I think.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, but she passed away at the age of 93. Long life.
Yeah.
Long life.
And then Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, man.
Passed away at 67.
Do we know what he passed away from?
No, I didn't see anything.
It was
because I didn't know if he was sick or anything.
He was sick.
Okay.
He was sick.
It was something in his
muscles.
muscles
for a while.
That sucks. He was a wonderful human being and comedian. Obviously, like most people will know him from as Iago from Aladdin. He also is Misc in Superman the animated series.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was always nervous that something like horrible was going to come out about him.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, please don't ruin Gilbert Gottfried. I know he's like he'll really like go for it on saying some shit, but like I hope he's not actually got shitty shit that'll be uncovered, and I'm glad that never came to light, and hopefully never will.
I think his legend is
the only like bad thing I remember about Gilbert Gottfried is when he made a kind of insensitive joke about the tsunami that happened in 2006. Yeah, but I assume you're talking about something much after that.
Look, he's a comedian. He made a bad joke.
He's a comedian who has definitely stepped in it a few times as far as like that's questionably racist.
Yeah.
That's definitely happened, but like I mean like
so is Bob Saget.
Never like really, really serious allegations or anything that had to come out. And I was always like, I don't know what it was about him, but I was afraid that like he seems like he actually can be just a good person too.
Yeah.
He just like knows how to go for some shit in his comedy. I really wanted to highlight because he passed. A lot of people were sharing it around on Twitter, and I highly recommend that if you have not seen the clip from him in Hollywood Squares, where he is the one square that is needed by both the contestants, and he is trolling the shit out of them because he knows they both need him. It's a very good 5-minute clip, and you should go check it out.
Right. He also played like God.
What a legend! And I forgot how goddamn entertaining Hollywood Squares actually could be.
I don't know what show it was, but he played God in some animated show, and I saw a clip of it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. He was like the hand of God. I was like, oh, that's cute.
Oh, yeah.
Mag is in the chat saying he said the most dirty joke after a bomb joke that we should look into. Okay. And apparently he was also in an Angry Video Game Nerd episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He showed up in one. Yeah.
Real quickly for audio listeners, a bombed joke, not a bomb joke.
No, yeah. Bombed. BOMED.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, I really liked Gilbert Gottfried. He had a very distinctive voice. I mean, obviously, he was the Affleck Duck for many years. He's like started as the Affleck Duck, and then like he hasn't been for a couple of years, but yeah.
Again, because of the tsunami thing, they cut him from that.
Yeah.
That was why.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So I really liked him and his voice roles. He was Iago in everything when it came to Aladdin.
Yeah, yes. He reprised Iago in Kingdom Hearts.
Hell yeah, he did.
He reprised that. I think he also was Iago in the animated series that they did.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes. 100%.
Yeah, he was one. He was one of those characters.
He's only beaten by the actor who played Jafar, because he also voiced Jafar. He played Jafar for the stage show, which Gilbert Gottfried did not get to do for Iago because Iago does not talk in the stage show.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the Jafar voice actor also did all the same appearances that Iago did. Granted, like he didn't have to do as much of a consistent appearance in the animated series, but he did show up. Gilbert Gottfried beaten by 1.
Yeah.
It was
67 though.
Yeah.
Pretty young.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right.
Just gonna say that clip of him when he's I forgot what roast it was, but the clip of him yelling, "What an asshole!" That's a horrible impression, but that will live on forever in our memories. That will probably be tied to many soundboards going forward.
Hard voice to recreate.
Yeah.
He had
one of the most
one of the most unique voices for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I liked him a whole lot. Aladdin is one of my favorites. He's Iago is one of my favorites as well. So, all right, let's move on.
You wanted to hear something real shitty because we brought up Kingdom Hearts. So you know how they're like doing like a realistic thing. So that means I'll do like Marvel and Star Wars. You know what that also means? That when they do Lion King, it's gonna be the live action Lion King.
That doesn't mean that.
Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't they hurt us like that? I'm just saying.
Well, because wouldn't they? Because if they go to the Lion King world, wouldn't they just look like the Lion King characters again? So it wouldn't matter if it's realistic or not.
I just thought somebody made that point. I was like, I just see them. I just saw them.
I thought you were going to mention how Sora doesn't have his big banana shoes anymore, because that's what a lot of people were pissed
off. But when he goes to his world, he'll have them again, right?
Yeah.
That's what I
just wanted to bring up the Lion King.
Big feet ain't my fetish, yo.
Yeah, big feet ain't my fetish.
It's not the feet; it was just his shoes that were big.
No.
Well, what do you need such big shoes for if you ain't got big feet to fill them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, Ben.
Come on.
You've seen Goofy's
Socks?
dick, feet.
We know what you're into. All right, go ahead.
Simple
Brandon.
and clean.
Okay. The Flash. So this is some casting news, but in this case, this is some anti-casting news. So Jesse L. Martin is leaving the cast of The Flash.
I'm wholly unsurprised.
Wow, he's one of the good guys too. Oh.
He's one of 4 original cast members that are still on the show, and he decided, I believe that's what they said in the article. I'm not watching, so I don't know. And he is leaving to be on an NBC pilot called The Irrational. Now he is leaving as a regular. He will still appear in some episodes of season 9, which is coming out soon.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll still like make an appearance when it's convenient and he can, because he's still going, like, they're not going to kill off that character. If they were going to do it, they would have done it at the beginning of the season when they said that they did it, but they didn't do it. So it's, that bridge has been crossed and we're not doing it again. He's just a character who's increasingly had less to do other than be like, and he's good at it, be the like, I'm gonna give you the father advice here and be the like the good father role.
Does his wife still have superpowers?
Model. Yep.
Cool.
But like that's kind of his presence, and because she has superpowers and they keep involving her more in stories, maybe just because she has powers, or maybe because like Jesse L. Martin's just like, look, if it's not something really important, I don't want to be there kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's basically become the stay-at-home dad because they have a baby. Those two.
Oh, I see.
In the story. So like,
oh, yeah.
So like he's the guy who we don't see a lot because he's the one taking care of the kid because she's doing superpower stuff.
I watched
which is cool. That's fine. Like I'm all for like, you know, kind of a role reversal of the gender roles of that kind of thing. It's just Jesse L. Martin's super talented. And so it's a bummer when he's not getting to be used. But let's be honest, Flash has not been up on his game in writing, so it's kind of a blessing more than a curse.
I didn't talk about it in my week because like I watched like tons of YouTube like video essays and stuff, but I watched, there's this one guy I follow, he does like he does yearly like Flash in reviews, and he reviewed season 7, and I watched all of like his an hour long review of season 7. Boy. Yo, I'm glad I stopped watching.
There's a
that
reason
show.
I tell you, go back to Legends, baby, because that's where
howdy.
it's real at.
Like, and I know like without watching the full show in context, but like some of that stuff is just like, this is truly awful.
So
even without watching it, I'm like, oh man.
Season 7 really does suffer from like, again, like the pandemic did Flash probably the most.
There's so many new characters that I'm like, who are these people?
The Flash did the pandemic did Flash pretty dirty. Yeah. Like they had to follow up on the storyline of last season because they didn't get to finish it.
There's a guy named Chillblade. His name's Chillblade. He's awful. He's handsome though.
He is handsome.
Did you have anything more you wanted to say, Sparks, about that?
No, I mean, this is not the place for it. I could rant and rave. You know how I feel. We know how we all feel.
I can't believe
there's a potential world where season 9 is Flash's last.
Yeah, I'd say it's very.
Did Arrow get to 10?
No, Arrow stopped at 8.
Oh, then yeah, we should end it.
I think that I know that Grant Gustin was only signed on for, he like made a contract just for season 9, so he did not do a multiple season contract. I think there's a world where season 9 is the end.
I mean, I think when Tom Cavanaugh was like, all right, like I gotta go, this is getting ridiculous. I think the writing was on the wall for everybody.
I thought.
Yeah.
Jesse L. Martin, I'm happy that he's getting another pilot. He's super talented. He should be on other things. I feel that way about a lot of the talented cast of The Flash, is that like a lot of the people who are left at this point, I'm like, these are good actors.
They're trapped.
I just want them to be doing something else at this point.
And people were like, yeah, Warner Bros. Just needs to cast Grant Gustin, replace Ezra Miller with Grant Gustin. Like, let the man rest.
Hey, he's been the Flash for 7 years. Watch the show.
Look, if he wants to be the Flash in the movies, if Grant Gustin wants that, I'm all for it. He's Barry Allen to me.
I don't think he does. I think he's ready to go.
As bad as the seasons are, I will 100% defend that no matter how crummy the episode is in writing, Grant Gustin always gives 110%.
I believe
he is always 110%. I'm Barry Allen, and he is committed to that. And like, kudos to him. He's really trying to kill it in a game that's just not giving him enough fair play.
I'm sure he's just ready to call the character. Just let the character rest. Come back for a crossover.
If he was going to switch over to movies, it needed to be like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. All right, now we'll on to some like actual casting news. Wonder Twins cast KJ Apa and Isabel May for the HBO Max film.
Isn't that KJ Apa the guy who played Archie in that?
Archie in Riverdale.
He still does. He didn't. He still does.
Oh, that's still going? Wow.
Yes,
dude. They introduced time travel.
Yeah, they're superheroes now.
They have
like,
they have superpowers.
It's just the comics now. Like, it's truly insane. Like
parallel dimensions, magic, time travel, superpowers. It got wild, man. I'm actually sad I'm not watching.
There's 2 series that I'm thinking of doing that I'm actually thinking of doing when I move, when I have more free time. One is watch all of Naruto and catalog it, and then watch all of Riverdale and catalog it.
Like skipping filler, right?
For Naruto.
Like 147 episodes of filler in Naruto.
Yeah, I know, but there's like 700 episodes, and I'm like, that's a decent even number. Anyway, Riverdale, it sounds so batshit crazy enough where I'm like, I think I'm back on. Like, I think I want to watch this trash fire because it seems like everyone knows what they're doing. Like, they know the show they're making.
It sounds like what Once Upon a Time wishes it was at the end.
I love I love Twin Peaks. I love a good like silly soap opera. So like if it's like really ridiculous and like I've seen the clips, like it is stupid. Yeah. I could be in.
But it was crazy because like it like slowly got there because like they first introduced the Hood, which is an Archie superhero. Yeah. They introduced him as like a serial killer within Riverdale. And it's like okay, coming back. Yeah. And then they were like, and then like the next crazy thing they did was jump the show 5 years when World War III broke out, and then they did like Sabrina crossover because Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was canceled, and then they have superpowers, and then parallel dimensions came first, then superpowers. Yeah. Archie is dead in one of the parallel dimensions.
This all sounds exciting to me.
Every new thing about Riverdale that comes out, I'm like, I think I might give you a shot.
It sounds like a good time.
I'm so sorry, but I forgot what we were talking.
Riverdale.
Just no. The
Wonder Twins.
Of what
Wonder Twins.
Thank you.
Because I don't care about Wonder Twins.
So here's the thing about Wonder Twins. First off, I forgot this was happening. It is an HBO Max original film. The Wonder Twins have only been in live action, I believe, in Smallville prior to this. They were teased in Crisis on Infinite Earths, never happened.
What kind of water?
The other thing, the big thing is, I'm shocked that they didn't cast Asian leads.
Yeah, I'm shocked about that too.
For decades, they've been Asian coded.
Yeah,
if not flat out cast as Asian.
And that's like one of the reasons where like this is one of those things where it could be like, nobody cares about this franchise, so they could turn it into something beautiful, something like like Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, something like that. But if you're not even going to do anything like original with it, you're just going to cast a bunch of white people. I'm like, I'm even less interested in that.
You cast 2 of the whitest people.
I mean, even if you're not going to cast Asians necessarily, like just don't cast white people.
And it's just
give it to anybody else.
Like again, like I'm so far just like super disinterested. I'll wait for the trailer. I'm like, oh, they're doing something cool here. But until then, I'm just like, yeah, this isn't it.
I've never liked the Wonder Twins. I've never seen a thing that I enjoyed them in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to really do something like subvert my expectations and do something like like the Lego Movie. Like
I would be more interested in. Here's the thing: the Wonder Twins are aliens, so like I kind of understand that maybe the idea was like we don't want to get into like Orientalism because they're supposed to be aliens, but like you can not do that. You can just not do that and still cast Asian leads.
Right. All Klingons aren't black, but they are.
Right. If you cast 2 Asian leads or 2 people of color in the lead, not even like the same, like whatever, that's something that I'm piqued my interest. I'm like, okay, well, with the right script, with the right director, like this could be really something. But because you've walked out of the gate for Wonder Twins with this, I'm less interested.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna see who's directing this movie because if I so don't care right now.
While he's looking that up, Brandon, what's the next bit of news?
Yeah. Blue Beetle cast. Right. We've talked a little bit, I think like 2 weeks ago, that Sharon Stone was in talks to be Victoria Cord, and that role went to Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, kind of bummed about it.
Susan Sarandon has been cast as Victoria Cord in Blue Beetle.
I mean, Susan Sarandon is incredible. Definitely kind of would have liked Sharon Stone. She's got more of a bite. She's got such a bite that I don't think we see enough of in movies. I think we see more Sharon Stone or Susan Sarandon than Sharon Stone in like big movies. And I'm like, that would have been cool.
Sharon Stone just hasn't been on the scene in a big way for a while. I was kind of rooting for her for that.
Yeah,
me too. I looked this up. Victoria Court is a new character. It's not a character that exists in comics. The rumor is that it's going to be Ted Kord's wife and not just a gender bent version of Ted.
that makes sense.
So this is basically a clean slate for this character to work on. I'm still excited for the show. For this movie. I like the lead a lot.
For sure.
From Cobra Kai. So
yeah, it's just a bummer.
Yeah,
felt like a good revival for Sharon Stone.
Yeah, even though this is like the plot might seem kind of Ant-Man-ish, you have the older version and then you have the younger version taking over. Like that's still a great idea and it works for the character. So
yeah,
I'm so excited for the Blue Beetles. Blue Beetles even happening.
National Treasure news. The TV show.
This is a weird one.
The TV show on Disney Plus has recast essentially. Added Justin Bartha, who originally played Riley in the first two National Treasure films. He will reprise that role in this show.
Yeah.
So they're set in the same world, which means we're getting Nick Cage eventually, right? Like he's going to come back.
Eventually, yeah, cameo.
Yeah, I think Nick Cage comes back in like season 2.
Season 2 is not as
season 1 cliffhanger.
Yeah, season 2 is secretly National Treasure 3. They just can't legally say it.
Man, that'd be so funny if that like screenwriter or producer or whoever's doing the show, if it's the same one, just like, this is how I get it done. This is how I do it.
Has Nicolas Cage ever done a TV show?
He was going to, but he was attached to a Tiger King TV show.
Right, I remember that. I remember that he was attached to that, but he's never done a television show.
I don't think so.
Right?
No.
That would be cool. That would be cool if this was like a Nick Cage TV show. That would be fun.
Yeah, I think we know that Catherine Zeta-Jones is the lead in this one. I would like to see him be in this, and it feels like to me that he's probably jonesing to do a TV show, and he does want to come back to National Treasure. He's said how much he is upset that third movie's not happening. So I think this might be how he does it.
Sure.
Okay. Sparks, we have our Percy Jackson.
Yay!
Yes, we do.
Walter Scobell has been cast as Percy Jackson. Now, Ben, I'm sure you're confused. Who's Walter Scobell?
Yeah, who is he?
He's the kid from the Adam Project.
Oh,
Adam.
He's Adam.
Cool.
So yes, he is going to be Percy Jackson and Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Oh, good for him.
They got him at a young age. He's going to be a franchise boy.
Real happy for it. I think that's great casting. No shade on Logan Lerman. The movie's not very great as an adaptation, but Logan Lerman was a perfect casting choice for Percy.
He's so good.
Very, very. I will always stand his portrayal amongst a not so good adaptation of those books. But super happy for this guy that he's got it. I think that's great. He's very talented. Clearly,
I really liked him in the Adam Project.
He's a solid age, even more so than Lerman was when he was cast.
Yeah, he's like 12, I think. Yeah,
I think he's the right age for this role, especially as a TV show. You get it out every year.
Oh yeah.
I'm still very interested in what they're going to do as far as like pursuing it as a television show format. But
do you think they'll do a book a season, or
I really don't know.
Yeah,
I think that
that's just the easiest way. Like I think
I think the first 4 could be seasons on like a season 1 and season 2 of book 1 and 2, and then book 3 and 4. Mm-hmm.
Do you not think there's enough meat for a whole season of television?
I think it depends on the length of the episodes. I think you're probably stretching a bit, especially with 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think 1, because you're doing foundation stuff, you could probably make a whole season out of. But 2 and 3, I think are easily can be films. So you're stretching a little bit if you're making it a show.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily means that it's the wrong way to handle it, but I'm just very curious how and where they're going to choose to condense things.
Sure.
And especially because I got to imagine they want the longevity of, because it just feels too ripe and sitting right there to do what Riordan ends up doing to expand the universe, because he introduces even more diverse demigod kids. Once he moves on from Percy Jackson, you get the Egyptian kids, you get the Roman kids that come in, and they're a whole diverse group, both in their sexuality and their race, when they come in for the follow-up to Percy Jackson, which again brings Percy Jackson back to the fold. So like there's a lot of room there, so I really wonder how far they're hoping to take it.
I'm sure they're starting with, let's do the first book.
Yeah, I suspect that's true. The other reason why I'm like, I wonder if they do just commit to only the first book for the season is because that movie does exist and like people are familiar with it and it happened.
Yeah.
So like, how are you going to, give more of a story, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like that the answer would be to like really incorporate, again, like they made the second book into a movie as well, but they took a lot more liberties with that one than they did with the first one.
It's very curious again because like MCU, everything is 6 hours, but that's a Disney thing. This is Disney, right?
Yeah.
So like other Disney shows, how many episodes did Mighty Ducks have? Because like it could be 10, 30 minute episodes, 6 hour long episodes. Like it could be, we don't know.
I bet we're looking at Mandalorian territory somewhere around 7 to 8.
Like 30 to 60 minutes.
Like in that range in 7 to 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And I think Mighty Ducks was about 10 30-minute episodes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think because of budget,
that's kind of like the standard.
I think because of the budget you're going to need for Percy Jackson, you're going to air closer to like the Mandalorian than you're going to air towards.
So like standard TV, like 45-minute episode. That probably makes sense.
Yeah. This kid's a really big fan of Percy Jackson. He like really lobbied for this role. I'm happy he got it. I'm glad for him.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I hope, because like there hasn't been a really big like kids franchise like a Harry Potter really in a while. It'd be cool if this was was a big launch point.
I would love nothing more than to see this series take off in a big way, because like Riordan's what Riordan has done with those books is so incredible, because he's made these super accessible books for because he made it so directly to be able to be engaged with by children that are on the spectrum with autism, that they're able to engage with these characters because they can see themselves in a lot of the characters, because that's what he wanted to do with it. The way he embraces and merges mythology, the fact that he took all his success and launched it into, I know I don't know enough about all these mythologies, so I'm going to help usher in a whole new wave of writers to take on all these diverse mythologies, which is what the Riordan Presents series has been doing.
That's so
and there's
awesome.
like 8 different things that are covering like Mayan mythology, Chinese mythology, like all these things are being covered by these other writers who have a background in history and familiarity with those mythologies. Like, what a success. And like Riordan deserves all the praise that Rowling ended up getting. Like Riordan deserves all that kind of success because like he's truly elevated so much in the medium. So I'm all for the success of this.
Oh yeah.
By the way, Uncharted beat Fantastic Beasts in the opening weekend, and that's
it did.
Brandon, how am I supposed to feel about that? I don't feel like anybody wins.
Well, I think we win because they'll never make another one.
Yeah, but you're saying like Uncharted beat it. That also not great movie that didn't do very well.
But how do you, a sane person, open your mouth so poorly that you have tanked your brand so hard that Uncharted, a loathed film, beat you?
It's twofold. It's JK being a shithole, and it's also you made some bad movies before this one too. It's just a rumdinger.
If JK, you know what? I believe that if JK had not opened her mouth, this film would have done at least better.
Oh, of course.
She really hurt. Anyway.
Yeah.
What a bitch. Anyway.
It's true. I don't feel bad about saying it.
Yeah. All right, some comic book news. I think all exciting comic books.
Exciting.
All right. I'm ready to vibrate in my chair.
Because I said that, I'll go for Exterminators.
Leia Williams, you're back.
Exciting. Exterminators is going to be a 5-issue miniseries from Leia Williams and Carlos Gomez. Leia Williams, obviously, X Factor. Already super stoked.
Which none of y'all read.
Well, I haven't gotten to it yet, but it's there.
That means you didn't read it.
Yeah. I'm so far behind on my X-Men.
No, I still supported it.
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying.
It's going to have Dazzler, Jubilee, Boom Boom, and Wolverine. The good Wolverine, not the man.
His name's Logan. That's Logan. She's Wolverine.
I'm sorry, Logan. Won't have Logan in this. they're going to be the stars of this title. She describes it as a grindhouse-esque story that will see Dazzler, Julie, and Boom Boom kidnapped and put into elaborate death traps by a mysterious new army.
So multiple things. Leah Williams teased this in, it was either Women of Marvel or Marvel 1000, but she did a one-page story of these three characters, basically using all of their powers on Emma Frost to see how powerful Emma Frost's diamond form was. And she's like, nah, I knew it. You guys ain't shit. Really great little one-shot. Also, the thing that's really exciting about this book is Jordan White, who is the editor for the X Office, he's like, so I'm looking at the script for this book, and I'm looking at like the idea. Is this gonna be our like first M-rated book? And she's like, oh yeah, okay, I can do that. So this is gonna be a mature-rated book. It's gonna be oh, sorry, X-Force is kind of mature, but this is gonna be like the first one that's like not X-Force, where it's like, no, this is a mature. These X-ladies are gonna burn some shit up. I'm like, very excited.
I'm super stoked for this. I love X Factor.
Hell yeah.
Happy to see more of this.
I
also really love Boom Boom. I'm so happy to see Boom Boom in the title.
Me too.
I'm glad you guys love Boom Boom, dude. She's so fun. She just loves blowing shit up and drinking. So.
I voted for Boom Boom for the X-Men.
Me too.
You know what's up.
So sad that she didn't make it.
Ben, who'd you vote for?
I didn't.
Yeah, that's what happens in this.
You're part of the problem. You're why we didn't get Boom Boom.
That's why Krakoa is the way it is.
Guys, he had a lot of naps to take that day, okay? Just let him off the hook for this one.
It's okay.
All right. Onto the DC side. I just think this part is cool. You guys might not agree. So a couple of one-shots are coming for Black Adam, called Black Adam, The Justice Society Files. The first issue will be Hawkman. So this is going to be exploring Hawkman from the movie, leading into the movie.
Aldous Hodge, Hawkman.
Yeah. I already said that. So Kevin Scott is writing this with art by Scott Eaton and Norm Rapmund. Basically what's happening is Hawkman has to go up against Gentleman Ghost. I like Gentleman Ghost.
That's such a Hawkman Gentleman Ghost crossover. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, it sounds like they're willing to make those comics that help fill in stuff in between films, unlike a certain other comic company. So I'm all for this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And again, a weird choice.
There's going to be 2 stories in it. So the other story is going to be written by Brian Q. Miller with art by Marco Santucci and Carr Andrews. Kaare.
Kari Andrews. Yeah.
Kari Andrews.
Brian's still getting work. That's good.
Brian Q. Miller, yeah, he's still writing.
Yeah, last time I've seen his name on anything was the last issue of Smallville season 11. Season 11.
Yeah. He got a show recently.
He
The
did?
Way of the Last Man.
Oh, that's right. That was Brian Miller's?
Wasn't that Brian K. Vaughan?
I thought it was Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah, you're mixing 2 people up.
I do this all the time. I'm
Well,
so
no,
sorry.
The first name is both Brian, so I'll give you that.
They're Brian something. That one's acceptable.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, didn't Brian Q. Miller get a show? He definitely got a show recently.
Probably.
You know, he probably did. I just cannot.
Is he a DMZ?
I don't know.
Whatever. That's probably also came on. All
Do I
right.
look
Anyway,
at Google to you?
do you have Google?
I have Google.
Okay. Anyway, this story is going to feature ISIS, not the terrorists.
No.
There's a DC Comics character named ISIS who debuted in a TV show in the 70s that spun off of Shazam. This is going to be so in the movie she's being played by Sarah Shahi, and this is so ISIS in this comic, quote unquote, liberates, which basically means steal, a sacred totem from Intergang.
Oh, look at them throwing all these Gentleman Ghosts Intergang.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool that they're just like, yeah, our universe has Intergang, it has Gentleman Ghosts, like we're good with this, we're doing this.
We might never show them on the big screen, but they exist, which is nice.
Brian Q. Miller is currently a writer on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and was a writer on Motherland Fort Salem season 1.
Motherland! Thank you, Brian.
Also, I think he wrote he helped write Death of Superman and Reign of Superman. The Decamo.
He wrote Death of Superman. He did not write Reign.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
No, wait. Tomasi wrote Death.
Yeah,
Tomasi
the only animated film it shows him credited for screenwriting is Justice League versus Teen Titans.
Really?
That's a good. Isn't that the best one?
That's a good movie.
Yeah,
it is a good movie.
You're all right.
But that's the only one it's showing him credit as a screenwriter for.
You're all right, Q Miller.
Maybe it was Tomasi who did. Oh well.
Oh yeah, it was Tomasi. Hold on.
And his most recent comic book.
Yeah, we can't do this right now.
This is the Brian Q Miller corner.
We can't do this right now. Multiple people on their phones googling. We can't do this.
Definitely had a show. All right. Anyway, that's cool. Good for you, Miller.
Yeah, like honestly, like Sparks is right. Like I wish these. If you're not going to include like villains in your movies, like why not have a comic about it? Like that's. Yeah. I'm totally in for it.
Dreamer.
I'm right.
Sparks, you're familiar. You're probably the most familiar with the character Dreamer of the four of us.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely am. I'm the OG on that for sure. Because I
the character introduced in Supergirl and then had her comic book debut in DC Pride 2021.
God, sorry, real quick. You brought up Supergirl. That's who it was about. The queer baiting discussion. It was about Kara and
Lena.
Lena, yeah.
Okay, got it. Right.
That is queer baiting.
So, Dreamer, Nyanal, character created for Supergirl, introduced in the comic book last year, DC Pride, not in DC Pride 2022. However, she is going to be making her full DC Universe appearance in Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 13.
Yeah. Ooh.
Nicole Maines.
Like issue 12 or something, I think.
Nicole Maines, who is the actress who plays that character, will co-write that issue with Tom Taylor.
Yes, she's been very hands-on about bringing Dreamer into the comics.
Tom Taylor is so sick. People shit on him. He's the best. He's so good.
I love him.
I'd rather him write like wholesome like shit that might be a little too like ridiculous than some of the shit that we get. At least he tries to be like a good natured storyteller. Like that dude always puts his heart in the shit, and like he gets shit on so much. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I agree. I do not stand for his slander.
Yeah.
I love the guy. Nicole Maines. So it is not known if this is going to spin off into a series for Dreamer or other appearances, but it is at this point expected that she is going to get at least a miniseries.
I'd have to expect at least a miniseries.
Yeah. I feel like the bare minimum is a miniseries, to be honest. But
for those of you who don't know, in the audience, she's DC's first trans superhero, so that's why this is a big deal.
Yes, played by a trans actor. So very cool. They've done a lot of great stuff with Dreamer and Supergirl. I'm very happy that Nicole Maines has had such a warm welcome over on the comic side to come work on the character, help incorporate the character into the world of comics, write the character. She's clearly very passionate about it. She's pretty cool. She's a pretty cool person. So I'm real happy for her.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I'm glad for anything that brings more attention to Dreamer. I think there is a lot of potential for that character to be utilized pretty well in the comic world.
What are her powers?
So her whole thing is that she comes from an alien race where people of her line, generally women, are gifted with the ability. This is why it's a big focal point in the show. Are gifted with the ability passed down for they can dream visions of the future, but they can also incorporate the psychic energy that they tap into as something that they can actually wield out into the world. So they both incorporate visions of the future as something that they're able to interpret. It's not necessarily visions of the future. They interpret their dreams to try and see what will happen. They don't see the future. They interpret very much abstract dream logic and are able to perceive through it what that means for the intended future of other people.
Kind of sounds like Destiny
and
from X-Men. Like she perceives the future in a way like that.
Yeah, kind of.
That's cool. No, that's because like we don't see that type of vision use. It's like, oh, I see the future. Like
so she engages with that, and that's how her powers start. And then she's able to manifest the energy that she uses to connect to dreams into an actual tangible source of energy that she can use to fight using guys. And generally, it's a more protective power than a salient power, but she can be a salient.
She uses the dreamscape.
Yeah,
that's sick.
So she is also Go ahead.
Real quick. So like the whole sticking point, like the cool part of her introductory arc is like her sister hates her because she started born as a boy. And so she's supposed to not be able to be the dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's part of the character in the show too.
But she's inherently a girl.
That's awesome.
Because that's who she is inside. And so that's who she becomes because she's trans. And so she is gifted that power, and it creates like this rift in her family because her sister's like, it should have been me. I was born a girl, therefore like, so it's like this whole thing.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she is the ancestor of the Legion of Superheroes character Dream Girl.
Yeah.
That's an interesting retcon. All right, it's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. They do a good job of it, and I think that interpretation of like, because the power is supposed to be passed down to women, and how that like it puts the trans stuff real centerfold to who the character is, which I think is really well done.
Love it.
Yeah. I had a guy fight me on that because I said that Nia Nal was a new character created for the CW, which she is, and she was like, no, Dream Girl, this Legion of Superheroes, like, no, not the same character.
Not
literally thousands of years in the future.
Yeah,
that was a fun day. All right, keeping it in the same world, DC Pride 2022 had its table of contents looked at, and a story has been added from the initial announcement, which is that Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman himself, will be writing a story in DC Pride 2022 with art by J-Bone. It's going to act as a personal story about being an openly gay Batman.
I was curious what it was going to be, like if they were going to allow him to do that. I wonder if it was just going to be like, oh, it's just him telling a story about Gotham, but like it being like a gay Batman is like, that's all I can ask for. Like that's really great.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool. I'm glad they did this now because FOC hasn't passed yet. Because it's really neat that they maybe even he came up to DC and was like, "Hey, I want to write a story," because not a lot of people know he's gay. There are many people who saw his name in this and were like, "Oh wow, wait, he's Kevin Conroy's gay. We've always had a gay Batman. That's incredible." Remember, like a couple of years ago, we found out for the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually keep forgetting that he is, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. So it's really cool that he's going to like get to tell his story. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, me too. That's great.
They released there's an artist named Sway who is like becoming like an up and coming like really popular cover artist. Draws the most beautiful people alive, and he's the cover artist for Pride, and he released like the layout. I swear to God, every one of those people is so hot. Holy shit, especially Poison Ivy. That's like no joke, maybe the most the sexiest Poison Ivy has ever looked. And I'm like, that's a cartoon character. I can't be talking this way.
Are you spelled the artist name?
Sway, S-W-A-I.
You're speaking into the deep internet now.
Yes, S-W-A-Y, Sway. Just good. DC's got some good looking people.
Ben's like, I'm gonna have to look up some of that Ivy art you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this now.
These are always great.
Yeah, I really appreciate like when they get to do something like this, and the fact that like DC is constantly not backing away from this, and they're always like, this is important, and this is important to them, and it feels like it is, and this is kind of one of the major positive steps that DC has been doing lately.
Yeah. Absolutely. I fully agree with you. For anyone who was watching, like Ryan and I just smile at each other, it's because Luna's sleeping over here and she's got the like hiccup little tiny barks because she's barking at something in her dream.
She's like sleep barking.
Yeah.
Cute.
And I inappropriately was smiling in that moment. I didn't mean to.
It's okay. All right, let's move on. Detective Comics.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Detective Pikachu.
Detective Comics. Actually, the artist for Pacific Rim Blackout, did the Detective Pikachu comic book prequel that Legendary put out for the movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Mariko Tamaki is leaving Detective Comics, and Ram V is taking over. Ram V will be joined by Raphael Albuquerque and Dave Stewart as of issue 1062.
So this has been an interesting week for Ram V because early in the week, Ram V saying, I'm doing a new book, and then it's announced it's a Batman book, and everyone's like, God damn it, it's another Batman book. But people didn't just assume he's taking over a Batman book instead of it being another one.
Right.
They've already released 2 of the covers, and they look like the Savage Shores covers. Like truly, like I'm not just saying this, some of the most beautiful covers Batman's ever had, and the book's not even out yet.
The second one is J.H. Williams.
Oh Jesus,
very good.
It's too good. Like Chip Zdarsky is a hell of a talent. Ram V coming on the Batman is a different story. This is a dude who is like, not that Chip Zdarsky thought, he's a artist. That dude gives it his all. And like I've never been more excited for a Batman book in a long time. Like truly, I can't like the fact that he took it on again. Something like Chip and Ram both doing Batman at the same time. This is going to be the best Batman's ever been.
What a doubleheader!
Yeah,
I am very excited about this. I think this is great. A Ram V mainline Batman comic is like what a treat this will be. I have to admit, I am a little sad that nothing ever seemed to hit like. You need to be reading this from Mariko Tamaki's stint on Batman, which is a bummer, unfortunately.
Yeah. Didn't it have the Dan Moore art too?
In the beginning.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but fine things about both runs currently happening right now. They've both been fine, which I guess for Batman you don't want just fine, you know.
Well, I think so another thing that's really interesting about this. So Ram V and Chip Zdarsky doing these Batman books is really exciting just in general because this is kind of the two powerhouse creators tackling this. This is also something that I suspect is coming is like a new wave at Marvel. I think Marvel is getting rid of exclusive contracts.
Yeah.
I think I don't think they care because I think they like it. They want Marvel writers to write at DC, to write at Image, to write at Dark Horse. They want that, write wherever you want.
Yeah.
And I think DC is going to be historically the one that's just going to drag their feet on maybe exclusive contracts.
It is interesting because Chip Zdarsky. Okay, so the people that I know right now who do have Marvel exclusives are Jason Aaron and Donny Cates. Yeah. They're exclusive to Marvel. They can do independent stuff, but they can't do DC. Chip Zdarsky was signed at Marvel exclusively, and then something changed, and now he's doing 25 books at once. I don't know if that was a Marvel thing or a Chip thing. But I think you might be right. I think like the exclusivity thing is not as there's like who can we get right now? Like
I don't think it's important to Marvel.
Yeah,
I don't think it's important to Marvel
because like it's everyone wants to write Spider-Man. Like you can get people to write Spider-Man. You don't need to sign them down.
On that note, I'm just hoping that because it was a big deal for Mariko to be able to take over Batman, I hope something just as sizable that maybe gets more buzz and play is on the horizon for her, whether that be at DC or Marvel. More just like. It again, very great to have Ram V. Very excited for that. What a treat. But we are talking about like, oh man, we really want like more diverse writers on these.
I mean, Ram V is a diverse writer.
No, for sure. No, for sure. But
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know. The thing, but also the thing is like, we do want diversity, but if the book isn't great, that's not
100%. Like it's not me like saying like, oh, this is a bad decision because of this. Yeah. It's me saying like, I hope there's something else good on the horizon. Like, this wasn't, and that's kind of like a out with a whimper. We're not going to see Mariko get to take over something big again for a bit. Like it's back down to lower level.
No, yeah. She is a prominent writer right now. So like, I am not worried about her getting another book.
Yeah.
And again, like Batman is
but I want another big book.
Yeah. I mean, isn't she doing like a Wonder Woman book right now? Like, I don't know.
I don't know if she's doing a Wonder Woman, but I was actually just thinking that perhaps she goes on to Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Oh no, because I'm picking up Trial of the Amazons. It's Becky Cloonan's doing Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she had Mariko Tamaki. I read most of her run. I fell very far behind because they started double shipping and then they went weekly. So it became very stressful on my wallet.
Yeah, it's hard when it's like that. That's one of the reasons I was like, I gotta just stay away from that one. Sorry.
Yeah. But she was doing this like Shadow of the Bat, like big epic like 8-issue weekly series that I think probably was meant to be like her like big like out with a bang moment. But that weekly shipping for it just that really hurt my wallet. I had to drop it, unfortunately.
For anybody, like it's very hard to keep up with no matter how much you like a book.
That's why I was Spider-Man Beyond's weekly, and I dropped it after 3 weeks because I just can't do it.
And honestly, more often than not, like we usually hear that it ends up like pushing the artist a little too hard,
or you have different artists for the entire run.
Sorry, I mean even the writer, like the creative, like they end up getting like pushed if it goes on for too long. That way, like it's just not the way to. I don't think it's the way to run things.
No, weekly's never.
Yeah. Ram V coming on Detective Comics got me very excited, though. Just a little bit about his story. The first arc is going to be a 4-part story called Gotham Nocturna, which sees Gotham City playing host to a quiet invasion of demons who have been lured out due to a strange melody. He's spoken about his run and this specifically being very opera inspired.
Ooh.
So Ram V had a book called Blue and Green, which is a music inspired horror book. And that is very much about how music can be scary. And like how like God, I wish I could show you the book. Like music sheets are like pages in the book, and they turn into things, and it's like this is one of those runs where I'm like, Batman will always have a book. He'll always have 100 books, but he will never have like a Ram V book all the time. And this is one of those situations where like this is going to be like Grant Morrison coming on the Batman. Like,
sure.
Like again, I don't mean any offense to anyone else who's written, but it's just like this is like when like an artiste comes onto a book.
No, for sure.
And I'm just like, he's not a guy again like Chip. He wouldn't take on this book unless there was something.
The thing is that you always know when someone like Ram V is stepping on. You know they have a vision.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're about to, you're about to be treated to much like when you go in to see the movie we're going to talk about today. You're going to be treated to a vision of something.
Absolutely.
It's not just like. It's not just made to be made.
And
it's made to say something.
And what's nice is, again, like I probably wouldn't be as enticed. Well, I would read it. But like if this were just another Batman : Nocturna, whatever, and it's just another miniseries, I probably wouldn't be as invested because it's Ram V. I would. But this is the main title. So this is the canon thing that happens next in the Batman legacy. And it's this guy. I'm like, I'm there. I'm there.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I need to find room in my pull list to pull both Batman and Detective soon.
Oh, I cut my pull list so good. It's just like X-Men. I don't even know what else anymore. Super Son of Kal-El.
Yeah. The problem is for me right now, the Radiant Black universe keeps expanding, and I'm just like, give me more of that, please.
That's like its own little X-Men universe, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. All right, that's it for comics. Real quickly, Nimona. We talked a lot about how it's a comic book that was turned into an animated film at Blue Sky. They said it was about 75% completed. And then Disney put the kibosh on it, was not going to release it because they shut down Blue Sky and various other reasons. They chose not to adopt it. But the film seems dead. It is now alive again at Netflix.
Oh, that's nice.
So Netflix picked it up and will be completing it and then distributing it.
It's nice that the work that was put into it is not for nothing.
Yeah.
Especially because it was like so close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cast also returned. So very cool.
Great.
Love it.
And then Casper is getting a new TV series. Casper
Wild.
the Friendly Ghost. If you guys remember that?
I do.
Peacock is developing a live-action Casper TV series from Kai Yu Wu, who was a writer on Hannibal and The Flash.
When I think of Casper, I think of Hannibal.
He was...
I'm into it.
Hold on. He wrote 2 episodes of Hannibal.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
So-
that's still at least 2 great episodes
There
of
is
television because every episode is great.
There's no bad Hannibal episode, so
Sure. He wrote 26 episodes of The Flash, and he recently developed something on TV, but I forgot the title of it.
What time frame are we talking on The Flash here?
Early.
all right.
Well, then that's probably pretty good.
Because I wanted to look it up too. Anyway, so Casper will be a horror adventure show that reimagines the origins of Casper. A new family arrives in Eternal Falls, and Casper uncovers dark secrets that have been buried for over a century.
Hell yeah.
I honestly I don't care about Casper at all. Like I'm into this. I could be.
I think that original movie's great, and then it pretty much. I like other things because I like Casper, but it balances out there. Like I think that original film is good.
I have fond memories of old Casper cartoons and watching that movie.
Yeah, the old Casper cartoons are they're fun. Definitely they're fun.
Yeah, especially the one where Richie Rich gets run over and then becomes Casper.
Yes. But I'm all for I think it's a good time for a new version take on Casper.
And not that it's gonna be mature, but not totally kiddie, a little more a little PG-13, maybe Goosebumpsy. I could get into that. Brandon agrees.
Man,
Sorry.
I had such a crush on Christina Ricci because of Casper.
Oh,
Me too.
Yeah.
I had such a crush on Bill Pullman because of Casper. All right. Anyway.
Very true. He is. I don't think he's ever looked better.
No, I don't think so either.
I think that's the best he's ever looked with full blown dad bod going, and still the best he's ever looked. He definitely has fun in that movie for sure.
I really like that movie. It's also really sad at the end.
Pullman, yeah.
Oh, he's got the part here.
Yeah. The big glasses.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, Ben's like, this homosexuality. No, I'm too straight for this.
No.
I'm kidding. Trailers.
Trailer time. Tea Park.
We won't talk a lot about this, but how wild is it that Godzilla is coming to Call of Duty?
It's not. It's not as
we don't know that
exciting
yet.
as you think, Brendan.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It is Godzilla and Kong. They are. I'm talking to Sparks' point because he said we don't know that yet.
All right.
Call of Duty Vanguard and Warzone Season 3 Classified Arms. This is the trailer we watched. And it does end with the orca sound from the Monsterverse, from King of the Monsters and Godzilla's Roar. Legendary, this is going to be a crossover between Legendary Pictures and Call of Duty that's going to put their Godzilla and their Kong into this game.
So, they're just going to be in the background. You're going to be shooting dudes while they're in the background. That's all it is. Attack on Titan's been in this game. Rambo's been in this game. Call of Duty's been in this game. It's going to be cool. None of us are going to play it because it's just going to be a map you play on.
See, I didn't know any of that. So you say Attack on Titan was in this game? That's interesting.
Yeah, Brandon, like, I wish you knew more about before talking about this because this is going to be literally nothing and none of us are going to play this. It's not going to be very cool.
You should have told me to take it off then. All right, moving on.
Well, I didn't. It's going to be, you're going to be playing Call of Duty while Kong and Godzilla fight each other.
I understand. Okay.
Because, like, you could play as, like, John McClane and Rambo in that game if you want. And Aaron from...
So wait, but my question is, can I play as John McClane fighting Rambo while Godzilla versus Kong are fighting in the background?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to play this.
You can do it.
Our Father.
Call of Duty crossovers aren't very cool.
Our Father.
Who art in heaven. Boy, talk about uncomfortability.
I heard about the story, which is why I put this documentary on here, because I remember when this was released, the story.
Do we know where the line is between, like, who's a performer in this and who's actually the real people?
Yeah, you are seeing stage stuff. Yes, yeah, for sure.
All of them?
No. Like, so
I know we're seeing stage stuff in certain things. Yeah. I'm asking, like, the people who are saying, like, this is what happened to me.
Those are real people.
Those are the real people.
Yes. It's like murder mystery shows where they do, like, reenactments where you have
because they're doing some of the stage stuff with them. That's why I'm like, I'm not clear on where the line is because I can tell what parts are staged.
Yes.
I just didn't. I was like, but some of the stage parts are involving the people who are talking about, and so I'm like, did they get the people who are talking about to do the stage bits too?
Maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah. At first, I was like, is this like one of those faux documentaries, or is like something that, because it said Blumhouse documentaries, like, but Blumhouse, they make horror films.
This is a horror film, bro. It's a real life horror film.
Yeah, it is a real life horror film. Yeah. Also, kind of reminded me of that movie that Vince Vaughn was in, Delivery Man. You guys remember that one?
Yeah, that's the comedy version of this.
That's the I didn't mean to version of this. This is the he meant it.
Yeah, so for those of you who didn't watch this trailer, Our Father was the real life story of this fertility doctor who got dozens of women pregnant with his own sperm instead of their husbands. So there are just dozens of his children running around his 25-mile radius.
In a very Aryan way.
In a very white,
specific Aryan way.
Blue eye, blonde hair.
While being a head of a church.
Definitely like one of the most insane things to ever happen in a real world. Wild. I'm always fascinated by these kind of real world situations. So like, I'll watch this documentary.
There's something really funny to me about the stage shot of like the them approaching the house with the cop like pushing someone back as the cane comes down, like he's gonna like kill him or something. It's so like, like they're looking at the kingpin or something.
Yeah. It is very dramatized, dramatic. But it's a really disgusting, crazy story that I'm definitely gonna watch because it's very interesting.
There is a line in this that says, "What he did was obviously a sexual violation, but he didn't break any laws." Yeah, and that's chilling.
That is so nuts. That is so crazy.
Yeah.
The world's weird. Documentaries are crazy.
All right. Crimes of the future.
So you don't see too much, but David Cronenberg, one of my teenage idols, because I grew up watching just the grossest movies ever made. He's back making crazy, gross things. And it's all, I got all your favorite people in it. It's got Viggo Mortensen. It's got Kristen Stewart. It's got Léa Seydoux. I don't know what's happening in it, but there's like people inside like flesh mechs. Looks wild. Body horror is back, baby. David Cronenberg's son also makes body horror movies, so like they should make a movie together. It'd be really sweet.
David Cronenberg taking a break from Star Trek Discovery to do a movie.
Yeah, he's getting out of space, going into the flesh pits.
Cronenberg and the cast makes me interested a little bit of the effects is like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's low budget. Oh yeah.
Because it's not, it's mostly CG, right?
It looked like it. At least the fair chunk of like the stuff that was opening up and in motion, that looked like a lot of like. I joked to Ryan that I'm like, wow, this looks like Species, like pretty old looking CGI.
Yeah. I will take a bad CGI new Cronenberg movie any day. The fact that
it's certainly going to be creative.
Yeah, because like that dude, like the last couple of movies he's made, which they said like A History of Violence and Eastern Promises, those are just like dramas, or they're really intense dramas, but there's nothing horrific about them. So like the fact that he's coming back to like, yo, we're plugging plugs in the body holes. Like, yeah, all right, welcome back.
Yeah. Speaking of not understanding what's happening, Shin Ultraman released a full trailer today, actually.
Yeah, we have no idea what's happening, but I'm hype.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about watching almost 4 Hideki Anno movies in 2 days, so like I'm ready for another Hideki Anno movie.
I think this looks spectacular. I love the old style Ultraman effects, kind of modernized. This is my first exposure with Ultraman, so I'm not familiar with his kaiju villains, but I think they all look really cool.
They're a lot goofier.
This was great.
The CGI is significantly improved from the initial look that we got.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy about it.
Very excited. And then Stranger Things 4.
Guys, I thought this trailer ruled.
Oh yeah, this trailer definitely.
I liked it a lot.
I think Robert Englund's the bad guy.
Did you see he's got the eyes crossed out? I think he's definitely. Oh my God.
I think he's the voice of the bad guy. Is what I mean to say. The voice of the thing we see come down. I think that's Robert Englund.
Ben, do you know the name of the villain?
The Lich.
Vecna.
No way, they're naming him Vecna.
I don't know if it's true. That's what Twitter told me.
Okay, it is.
It is.
I also know a spoiler about it, but I don't want to tell you.
Well, Vecna is the villain of Critical Role.
Yeah.
It's also like Dungeons and Dragons villain, but like most like famously.
I mean, they've been doing they've been placeholding Dungeons and Dragons monsters like the Demogorgon, the Beholder.
Yep.
And I was like, the second I see this dude, I was like, that's a Lich. They're gonna call him the Lich. But now they're calling him the Vecna. I'm like, oh, this is even getting worse.
You know what? I don't know if this spoiler is true. But that thing isn't from what I heard, that thing isn't from the Upside Down. It's from
another place.
It's from our world, who is trapped in the Upside Down.
I mean, that makes sense because it's much more human based.
Yeah.
So I believe that's true.
I mean, I could,
yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to tell you the kind of big one in case it's true.
No, don't tell me that.
But I also like seeing more wildlife in the Upside Down. Like we see like his bat creatures. Like it makes the Upside Down feel less like a place that maybe a couple Demogorgons and a big shadowy thing exists, but not like a place that actually has things in it.
Yeah, man, I'm hype. All the old favorites are back. Stuff looks cool. You got Journey.
Really good use of separate ways. Yeah.
That needle drop or that trailer music. I know trailer music it can make or break a trailer, but man, the whole way they remixed that song into this trailer, because it is like the group went their separate ways. You got Will and Elle living in a different city, different state, and man, it's just so good.
He can't escape that bowl cut.
Takes a bowl everywhere.
Poor haircut.
That 18-year-old child.
Yeah, I thought this looked really great. I'm really excited. I love the cinematography of this season specifically, because there's a bit where it looks like we're in the upside down, but it's not blue, it's red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looked really cool. I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah, this like all the seasons have been shot well, but this one like it took like a step up even more. It's like like this is like, even though it's like a 2-season finale, like yo, we're putting our all into this one, baby. Like,
well, this isn't the finale. They got 5 coming. They got
but what I mean, the 2-season like it's the beginning of the end. Like
right.
They shot these things back to back, so it's going to look the same as the next season. I mean, it's a visual step up from the last season.
No, they didn't shoot 5 back to back. There's 2 parts coming of season 4.
2 parts to season 4. Season 5 will then come after.
My bad. Okay,
season 4 is split into 2 parts, and then there will be season 5.
Oh, I thought this was the end then.
No.
I'm happy. I'm so much happier then. Oh god, I got a whole nother 2-parter.
Okay, that's it. Do we want to go into our main topic?
No.
Yes.
Sorry, Ryan. Majority rules. All right.
Chingers.
Full spoilers, and I cannot stress enough full spoilers. If you have not seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, do not listen to this or watch this.
Even if we did, truly, nothing we could say could spoil how the things that happen in this movie. Like, for real, honestly. Like, we cannot explain them in depth how cool the movie is. I'll say that.
If you can go in as blind as possible. And I think that it is important too. So full spoilers for Everything Everywhere All at Once. You have been warned. Skip, pause this, jump ahead, whatever. If you've not seen the movie.
Unsubscribe. Wait, that's too far.
Don't do that!
If you're watching this live stream, turn it off. Do not continue past go. All right.
Oh, man, I was going to say.
Okay, what do we think about this?
What do you think about it, Brandon?
I love this. I thought this was incredible.
Yep.
Ben.
So everyone dies. I'm kidding. Yeah, this movie was bonkers with the capital B in a good way.
I love this movie so much. I want to see it so many times. I adore it.
But Sonic.
I'm so pleased. I want to see Sonic too.
It's too many good movies.
But this is one where, like, I want to see Sonic 2 because I want to see that spectacle on the screen again. I want to see this again, but I want to like sit with it and then go back to it and like sit with it, like really digest it, because there's so much to digest. Real quick, because Grayson's making jokes about us talking about spoilers. No joke, Grayson, for real. If you didn't see it, there's something they don't give away in the trailer about what this movie's actually about that I do think it is a better experience watching the movie and not knowing it. And I really mean that.
True.
It's not like a death spoiler or something like that. It's literally what the film's actually about. And I highly recommend that if you are interested, don't listen to what we're going to say. Okay, now that we're past that point.
So this movie got a lot of hype. Really good reviews. Best movie ever made, blah, blah, blah. So I was worried going in. And the first 15 minutes, I'm like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. And then the movie kept going. I'm like, no, this is the best movie of the year. I made the joke earlier before we Elden Ring, Everything Everywhere All at Once. The year's over. Just cancel entertainment, baby.
We can just stop 2020.
Northman.
Or
Northman.
Could be great. Will it beat this? Tough
I'm
call.
just saying, bunch of whiteys.
So, like, Sparks, you were talking about about what really this movie is actually about. I saw a tweet earlier this week about how Encanto, Turning Red, and Everything Everywhere All at Once is really making parents apologize to their children.
So I want to talk about that. Thank you for bringing that up. I want to talk about that so badly.
That was quick, damn. As
a child of a narcissist, I'm sorry if you're watching this. It is incredible that the current crop of people writing movies are not writing story. I get the joke. They're writing stories about parents have to apologize to the kids. No, they're writing stories about real trauma that boomer parents put their children through for their whole lives, and they are not shying away from it, and they are talking about it, and they are embracing it and giving people something to watch. And I think that's damned great. I'm so excited about this era. It's one of the biggest reasons why I love this movie.
They're putting their parents
preach. Lambast your mother, preach.
Lambast your mother.
Sorry, Mom. They're putting their parents, they're holding their parents accountable. And okay, I don't know if this is gonna sound out of left field or not, but yeah, our parents, maybe not our parents specifically, maybe one of ours.
No, mine too. Sorry, Mom.
Has put us through hell and back. They say, and then when we try to talk to them about things, they're like, oh, you're just fine. You just don't have to worry about it. It's like, yeah, we do. And seeing that so many other people, so many other artists, so many other people have gone through this shit, and it's finally like, yo, this isn't okay. It's like, hell yeah, it's not okay. And we're finally able to fight back. And they're listening to us.
What's also great, because it's something that, like, how do I phrase this right? Our parents and Michelle Yeoh in this movie, like, they also went through trauma growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's generational trauma, and it's when you learn to stop passing the buck.
Right.
And that's what a lot of the movie is about too. It's about not just like, hey, parents need to stop like shitting all over your kids. It's like, oh no, your parents also went through it too. You need to have a little more sympathy as well. Because that's something I definitely, growing up, I know, like, being a single mother's hard on a person, you know? So like
Sure.
growing up, I know my mom did her best, and like being an adult, I can recognize that stuff. And
that's why I don't necessarily agree with what Ben was saying, because a narcissist is not someone who is just an evil person that needs to apologize. It is someone who suffered generational trauma and is passing down generational trauma in a specific way, I know a lot about that. Ryan knows a lot about that. Like this is the kind of storytelling that I have been dying to see come from my generation. And I'm so happy we're here now.
And the thing that like, because I'm sure there are literally dozens of like low budget dramas that we haven't seen that tackle the subject, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that this is a hardcore science fiction movie that also is one of the most like emotionally like resonant movies of the year is a testament to how good the filmmaking really is. Like this is like, again, like this is like a Matrix. This is like a once in a year type of movie. Like I love this movie. It's so good. It's like it's so sweet. It's so bonkers. It's like it is a 4 quadrants movie, but like truly like it's so relatable to everybody, but also it's so bonkers and interesting. It's such an insane movie. Like I can't believe it.
I just, before we get into like the other stuff of the film, I want to also respond on like the generational parent thing, because I can contribute to it, and I didn't think this was something I was going to bring up today, but I'm going to. Real quick, I want to address that. That was not Ben's point. Ben was regurgitating a point that has been made in like article things, but not necessarily what Ben was saying as a point. Just the overall like generic press take that's out there of that's what this is about. Mad props, Ben. I know what's up. But we all have it, and like mine's my recently deceased father. But like my dad was not my dad was a drunk, and like we had like our big kapow kapow not so great moment when I was about 14 years old, and my dad stepped up from that moment to try to be better, and then his dad died and he fell right back in the hole, and it took about 3 years for him to kind of rebalance himself. And then I spent the next little over a decade actually having a relationship with my father for the first time. That was like one where we actually saw each other. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really, really grateful for that. So like that kind of moment, that like the catharsis of what the conclusion of this film is, that's what my dad actually ended up finally giving me. So I hear you all, and I feel for you, and I'm glad that this can speak to all of us on those different levels. And it's something that unfortunately not all of us get enough of, and even when we do, it's not always like I'm here to say like it doesn't solve every problem.
Yeah.
But it's cool that storytelling is here and just doing it.
And it's so direct.
It's awesome.
It's not like beating around the bush. It's like directly tackling like, hey, this is what you did to me, and this is why I am the way I am. And it's like, again, like I said, like I used the word earlier, but like it's like refreshing. Like this is a movie that like I've never seen before, and it's not just because it has like hot dog fingers. Like it's like the last movie these guys made was Swiss Army Man, and that's about like a corpse that farts and is used as 1,000 different ways. I'm like, I cannot see what these guys make next. Like I cannot wait. Like their imagination, the Daniels, it's like it's insane. Like they're so good.
I want to put on the record that I also really love Swiss Army Man. So
that's a good ass weird movie.
Yeah, I like the movie quite a bit.
The ending of that movie is insane.
Yes, I think about that ending a lot.
Yeah, it's an insane ending.
Yeah, I really love this movie. I think it's incredibly inventive, incredibly complex in its simplicity.
Yes, it's complex, but like they give you all the information, so like there's a lot of things happening, but you're always engaged and you know what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so much verse jumping, so much like going to different universes, but like they lay it out and it makes sense. Like
the beats that you walk through it with Evelyn really work. Like the way that like here's a chunk of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Digest that.
Yes.
Okay, you're settled. Here's another chunk of a lot. All right, digest.
It's like a 5-course meal.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And they introduce you to the family, and they introduce the movie as kind of this family drama of we've seen the trailers, so we know how it's going to go, but the movie takes its time to build into when Alpha Raymond comes to comes there, and that becomes the first hint that there's something different in the movie. But we've already spent time with the family and got to know their character dynamics together and what's happening with the divorce.
Yeah,
I thought that was a good choice to just kind of like hold back a little bit on the verse jumping and then introduce us.
Like you see like what like the American dream is for so many people, and it's like they run a business, it's not exactly doing great, and they got a family, and like this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what you do. And Evelyn's not feeling it anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, and like, oh my god, the shifts. Like, can one of you guys find the actor's name who plays Ed? The guy who's come back to acting.
I'm on it.
Every time he shifts from
so it's
Ed,
Waymond. Waymond is his name, okay. And he's played by Kei-Hwa Kwan.
Okay. Every time he shifts from like his version to like Alpha, it's like, oh, Evelyn. And it's like, it's so good. He is so funny. And like that dude has not acted for decades. And I'm like, oh my God, he's never lost it.
Yeah.
The last thing he did was The Goonies. For those of you who've missed this for some reason, he's Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
I watched an interview with him recently. After Goonies, as he became a young adult, there were no roles for him as a leading Asian actor, and he quit acting because he was so like put down by it. But he called his agent after seeing Crazy Rich Asians, and then 2 weeks later, he got this script. It's like a match made in heaven. It was like he is so good in this movie. It's like that dude's been an actor his entire life.
Yeah, I really liked him. In this movie. He has a fight scene that is straight out of a Jackie Chan movie that I adored.
With the fan pack, that was so good.
Yeah. So apparently, Ryan brought this up to me. Like Jackie Chan was the original, like thought of for the role. I'm so glad it went to this guy.
Me too.
I'm so glad because like I think you would have a harder time. This is no knock on Jackie Chan as a performer or anything. I think you would have a harder time connecting to the emotionality of this character because you would know it's Jackie Chan. And I think you would have a hard time removing yourself from that.
Yeah.
And there's something that's so wonderfully vulnerable about his performance here.
Oh, yeah.
God, I just adore him.
And
I adore this cast.
He's able to kind of channel the Jackie Chan, like, big, like, you know how Jackie Chan can kind of go big, especially when it comes to like action and comedy. He can channel that, but he also can channel into this emotionality that I know that Jackie Chan can do, but you know, he's gotten into the Jackie Chan persona too much now, but he's able to kind of be so sincere and split the two Waymonds so well down the middle of having this like big Waymond and then the calm one who just wants everyone just to get along.
He has like a frailty that I just don't think Jackie Chan, unless he like lost up like a bunch of weight, like he just wouldn't be able. It wouldn't be the same.
To be honest, it's not just that. Like, Kei-Hwa Kwan has a higher register.
Yeah,
which automatically like just lizard brains us towards like more weak, more frail.
Yeah.
Because his voice lives in that higher register, and I think that does help to just put you with him a lot faster.
Yeah.
What your perception of him is supposed to be.
There's so much like verse jumping and just like seeing so many fun parallel worlds, but like honestly, the thing that I think about most is the Michelle Yeoh is an actress universe, where her husband is like another like famous guy, but they're not together. But they have a scene near the end of the movie where they're talking about like, oh, we could have been together, and he was like, you know, I would give it all this up to do laundry and taxes with you. And that was the scene that made me start crying in the middle of the theater with all my friends next to me. And I'm like, no, I will not let my friends see me. My little one tear. This movie got me emotional so many times, so unexpected. Like right after big giant sci-fi epics, like set pieces, like the tone is all over the place. Again, you can have like an emotional scene while you're seeing sausage fingers in the scene. And I'm like, this is making me cry right now. Like it's It's just cinema.
Just seeing the sausage finger on how the sausage finger apes killed off the regular finger apes, and that.
Apparently, it's so funny. Apparently, this world, and it cuts to 2001: A Space Odyssey. And I just thought that was so funny.
Yeah,
it was one of the funniest things I've seen. And even just all like those apes go, those like primates, those prehumans, like with their with the hot dog fingers.
It's so ridiculous.
What I love about this movie.
God, what a joke.
What I love about this movie is how it straps you in for something that you think is like, it's essentially like good guy versus bad guy. It's like, hey, there's this force out there who is going to destroy literally every single universe that we have, and you're the only one, you need to stop it, to a mother and daughter reconciling together.
I just real quick want to step in. Some people who are watching would have seen me just on my phone. Kei Kwan is how you say his name. I just wanted to look up the pronunciation because I didn't do my homework before this, and I wanted to make sure we were doing it right. So I was doing it off my own site, but I just checked how to pronounce it. It's Kei Kwan.
Gotcha. Cool. What was I saying?
Sorry.
Joy. I was talking about Joy. You gotta talk about the big.
How it goes from like, oh, we need to take down this big bad that's going to destroy every single universe in the entire existence, to when you find out who the big bad is, and then it's Evelyn trying to like essentially save Joy. It's like, no, I do want to be with you. Let's reconcile. Let's fix things. And it's an entire roller coaster. One of my favorite scenes in this entire movie, and I don't know why it's one of my favorite. I don't know. It's because it takes a break and it's quiet, and also probably because it's funny as all hell, is when they're rocks.
Yeah, dude, that scene hits harder than it should. It's so, I can't believe it. It's so good.
It's the quiet.
Yeah.
It's after, not in a bad way, the film has been so full of noise up to that point. It's the quiet and sitting there and doing your interpretation of the conversation, because there's no dialogue audio to it. That's what makes it like really like punch.
I wanted to wait, but since we're here, the rock scene is one of my favorites as well. Everything that has to do, every single time when they go back to the rocks, the loudest I laughed in this theater, and my theater was also, but it was when they're laughing as rocks, and it's just ha 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 written on the screen, and that was just so funny to me.
Oh, yeah. Right, everybody really cracked up at that. I want to talk about Joy, but I real quick want to acknowledge Mags. Am I the only one that thought the kung fu teacher might have feelings for Evelyn? I did not get that read personally. I thought that there was a possessiveness.
Yeah, I think it's
but not a romantic possessiveness, like just an actual like a manager kind of possessiveness.
Like I'm your teacher. Like I'm
even
like
your pinky can be kung fu.
Therefore, I own you. Kind of possessiveness.
I'm sorry, but also the pinky part where she like. Then the
pinky
has a bicep to it.
Yes,
very
kung pao. Enter the fist.
Yeah.
Real
quick, can we talk about the guy who does a cannonball onto a butt plug?
Okay, so since I've been waiting to jump in on this, yes, I want to talk about because we've talked about how the verse jumping. We haven't talked about yet how weird it is to do verse jumping, that you have to do a weird thing in order to go to a different universe. And I really love the fight scene where Evelyn is trying to do weird things constantly to verse jump and to all these different universes while she's fighting people who are doing the same thing. And one of the funniest bits is a fight scene where they're just trying to keep the butt plug trophy away. And that was extra funny for me because I turned to Zara when we first saw the trophies on Jamie Lee Curtis's desk. Before she even like pointed to them, I go, they're shaped like butt plugs. And
I told Ryan after we saw the movie, I was like, the moment those awards show up, I was like, that's going up somebody's butt.
Someone's butt. That's happened in someone's butt. Like I do too. And so like trying to keep it away from it, and then the bald guy just running and jumping with his pants
doing a flip, legs spread, lands, dust.
There's a lot of really great stunt performers, but like that big bald security guy, he's the MVP of like the stunt guys because his expressions were so hardcore. He was the cannonball butt plug guy. I'm like, I'm gonna remember you forever.
Yeah.
Even before he does the cannonball, when Wayman is like, when it's Alpha Wayman and he's like kicking ass with the fanny pack and he looks up and goes, "Oh fuck!" and he gets hit in the face with it.
Because he says, "Craig."
Oh, he says Craig. Oh my god.
That was very funny. Craig
worried about his friend who just got beaten with a bunch of aquatic rocks.
Man. I swear that fight scene with the fanny pack, I will never look at fanny packs the same way ever again.
That fanny pack fight scene
is I stepped out and I'm like automatic contender for best live action scene next year.
The fanny pack fight scene is my favorite scene in the movie.
It's so good. It's certainly my favorite action scene. I won't say it's my favorite scene, but it's my favorite action scene
That's what I meant.
Yeah. Hard agree. I want to talk about Joy. I want to talk about, this is what I alluded to when I was specifically telling Grayson to not pay attention to us.
I think she's secretly like the best actor in the movie.
Joy is the fact that like this is about Joy, that Joy's pain is the center focus of the film, that it's about her relationship with her mom and that she is our antagonist, is not given away in the trailers. And I benefited so much from not knowing that going in personally.
I didn't remember
I was so grateful to like not know that it was such a pleasant surprise how much the story was actually going to be about Joy. What a fantastic performance from Stephanie Sue.
Oh yeah. I think there's a scene at the end where she starts breaking down and I'm like, oh my god, this girl's so good.
She is.
Oh my god.
I truly like, I love all the writing around her. I love the concept around her. Her hallway scene getting to Evelyn in her first appearance as Jobu Tabaki is so good. She's so good at playing the multitudes, uncaring.
Yeah.
When we first hear that Jobu Tabaki, is it you're just saying noises.
Yeah.
She verse jumps by clicking her head.
Click to get into place is
so sick, man.
So good.
I really love, but real quickly, I just want to bounce off what you're saying. I really love how it is visualized that she is everywhere. She is in every verse. She's all at once, essentially. I really like seeing her nails like change color as she's walking. How she can just like turn her head and be in a different universe.
Yes.
Those really love it.
I was gonna say those costume changes that she has throughout the entire film, where she is like full on Jobu Tabaki, and it's just like when like her final costume, like her final big costume before she goes. And by the way, also I love the bagel joke when she goes before she goes into bagel, and she looks like a K-pop / hip hop star with the jacket that has the teddy bears on it, or even when she's in like that whole like I'm just gonna call it the sanctum. I can't think of a better word. Where she's in the sanctum of the bagel, and they're in that crazy looking uniforms that she has on. That once again, the whole time I'm sitting there watching this movie, it's like, God damn, this movie's gonna be sweeping the Oscars next year. If it doesn't, I'm gonna riot.
Here's the thing, Ben. It won't, because Hollywood hates really good movies.
And it came out now, so they're all gonna forget.
It came out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a sci-fi film. Those don't always do well at the Oscars. This is the Daniels. I think the Daniels got Swiss Army Man nominated for something, but I don't remember what exactly.
Yeah.
So they might get something at the Oscars, but I don't think it's going to be sweeping.
I'll tell you for sure, like it should. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen the other contenders. It should get nominated for best editing. Incredible editing. And I frankly also think Michelle Yeoh should get nominated. But I think everybody gives a killer performance. I think I love that Jamie Lee Curtis loved making this movie.
Oh my god,
loved doing all the bonkers shit she does in this movie. Is so good.
Speaking of Jamie Lee Curtis, she was on Jimmy Kimmel and she was constantly yelling at the audience, like, go see this movie. Do your best to see this. Every single actor was like hardcore championing to go see this movie. And I'm like, yes, this movie it deserves it.
I'm a tweet
constantly. Jamie Lee Curtis is constantly praising it on her Instagram and sharing things and background stuff and all that kind of like. Clearly loved it. Everybody loved it. Everybody loved making it. That's very obvious. I love her commitment to it. But my point being, like, I think all the performers are fantastic. I think Kei-hee Kwan is incredible. I think Stephanie Sue as Joy is incredible. I think our Becky is incredible. for the limited amount that she appears.
Jenny Slate is in it for 5 minutes.
Jenny
She's
Slate's
great.
Jenny Slate's in it for a little more. She gets to throw her Pomeranian around.
She does have a Pomeranian fight. Bro, you threw your hands in the air at that
I
point.
did. I was like, I can't. I don't know.
That was definitely one of the scenes where
Fanny
Fanny was laughing the hardest, because here comes Jenny Slate and she uses her Pomeranian as a weapon, and then she goes, "Sorry, buddy," and kicks it.
Yes.
Sparks, what did you say? He drowned you out. What'd you say?
Oh, sorry.
I was trying to say that Tally Medell is our Becky. I think she's good too.
Cool.
Obviously, you've got James Hong as the grandfather.
Oh my god, with his
Gong Gong.
mech wheelchair. Give me a break.
Me just wanting to highlight, like, I don't think there's I think all these performances deserve awards. They're so good. Frankly, like, I know they will never get nominated for them. Maybe if anyone did, it would be Michelle Yeoh. And she truly, truly deserves it, because this is giving her so much to display of what she can do, and the emotionality she's able to tap into throughout the entire piece is incredible.
This is one of those movies that, like Ben, you bring it up, like I would love to see like nominations for like for everyone. Like, I really think like Stephanie Sue.
Just Stephanie Sue.
I like as Joy, like that scene where she's breaking down in front of the car, like at the end of the movie, like that is a Oscar winning performance right there. Like both I was crying in the theater next to my homies, and I hate doing that. Like they're so good. But because this isn't just a drama, because there's sausage fingers in it, hot dog fingers, it probably will get ignored. Like, and this is such a, oh man, art baby.
The amount that they were able to do with such limited locations, but they sell me on everything and every beat. But like, we're only in such limited actual. So
you guys might know this, but for audience members who don't, a lot of the locations were the same. They were the IRS spot and the laundromat, just repurposed. So a lot of the same locations were used multiple times. Obviously, they're outside in some places, not in that case. But like, this is a $25 million movie. This is a low budget movie. This costs less money than most regular dramas that come out today. And I'm just like, it makes me just again really excited for the future for these guys, because I'm like, they've made nothing but in like great movie after excellent movie. I'm like, man, like people are like, oh, original movies are dead. Like, go see this movie, please.
Yeah.
Smag, Ben, if you could.
Got it.
Brings latest.
We haven't even talked about it.
It's a fun bit because she first mistakes Ratatouille for Raccacoonie, and then turns out there's a world where she knew Raccacoonie. It's a very funny sequence of this animatronic raccoon on this person's head. It's beautiful.
They just commit to every amount of comedy they can wean out of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really great. I told Ryan, I'm like, I kind of love the ridiculousness when you think about it of the hot dog finger world, because it's because they specifically show that hot dog fingers are something we evolved with. We just decided to create a world where we don't make anything that actually accommodates them.
Yeah.
The animals are still built for hands, not feet.
Still gotta like do
the
this with your
luggage
luggage.
is still built for hands, not feet. Like,
I love it.
That's because this is a $25 million movie.
No, but I think that makes it better.
Even funnier.
It makes it better. I don't want them to create the world where like they thought about that. I prefer the dumb.
Raccacoonie could have been something that showed up once. Did it show up once? No, it showed up so many times. Yeah. We kept coming back, and I loved every minute. Dude, that raccoon screaming in the cage, I was dying. It's too much.
Michelle Yeoh on top of this dude's head.
Yeah.
And then the dude on top of her head.
Yes.
I love it when she goes in the kitchen and she sees him, and the raccoon is like, she knows too much, kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He pulls the giant hat off of him. Come on.
Yeah.
You even see the raccoon tail outside underneath the hat too when you first see him.
This is like, again, this movie tackles so much, so many different tones, so many different genres. Like, it's a miracle that it works at all. But like, it's like again, like potentially the best movie of the year.
It never loses its like consistent thought on what Evelyn is experiencing and how that ultimately connects to her relationship, not just with Joy, because this is not just about her relationship with Joy, but it's also about her relationship with her husband, and it's also about her relationship with her father.
Yeah.
The three main figures in her life, it's about her relationship with all of them. Certainly Joy is put most front and center because she is our antagonist through Jobu Tsubaki.
Yeah.
But it's also so focused on, like, she has to have a kind of cathartic moment of realization about her relationships with all three of them as individuals, and how she has to approach each of them differently. I don't think there's there are very few things I can think of in film more beautiful than the moment when she takes the googly eye, puts it on her forehead, and Wayman asks her what she's doing, and she says, "I'm learning to fight like you." And it's hard to beat that kind of beautiful full arc that we go on with that.
You brought up Joy, our antagonist, through Jobu Tupaki. What I really love about it is that the moment really works because both Evelyn and Joy are every Evelyn and Joy throughout the entire multiverse. Joy does not start out as Jobu Tupaki until Jobu Tupaki like inhabits her moment, but she is always Joy.
Yeah,
she is always Evelyn. Like these two characters are always this character throughout all of the multiverse, and so having Jobu Tupaki has the same issue with her mom in every universe, which is that she didn't go to bat for her with the grandfather. She didn't. What we talked about in the beginning.
Well, not necessarily every universe, because in some universes she doesn't exist.
Oh, sure.
That's why the one where she's a film actress is kind of a safe haven from Jobu Tupaki, because she can't go there.
Yeah. So having the two of them talk like that and have the context of them being all of their versions just works so well because of that. I think
there's one specific
that well.
No, it's okay.
No, I'm with you. Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
There's one specific montage, like you see it in the trailers of like you see the flashes of all their faces, but like specifically, it's like 30 full seconds of just versing, so much versing, and I'm like, I cannot imagine how long this took. Not just editing, but
you got to think through everything about the coloring,
every single thing. There's monsters that they have to like digitally make. Like
you have the color light that's moving, which is the circle
hundreds,
in the same motion as
hundreds of thousands of pictures
in the same motion as a washer. The color circle light that moves when things are really evolving and changing.
Just like there's not a wasted frame, like at all.
And the fact that you can have such truly gorgeous emotion happening as Evelyn's making her approach on Joy at the end.
Oh, yeah.
And she's also doing such goofy things as like giving people what they want, which can be a BDSM bite guard and some spanking just to like make somebody happy on the way. Like the way that the movie's able to hold both things in its hand at once is pretty incredible. The balance of tone, the fact that it's able to hit everything pretty much pitch perfect for exactly what it wants to deliver is a rather remarkable feat.
Yeah.
I'm just so impressed and pleased.
Like for real, like this is the type of movie where it comes out every once in a while, and I'm like, okay, blockbusters can be this. Like I think of the movies that we generally review, and I'm like, okay, genre is this, we are capable of this. Like I think of Lord of the Rings as like maybe the best example of like high, crazy, like Oscar-winning fantasy stuff, right? Like this movie's like we are capable of more. The MCU is capable of more. DC is capable of more. Like we can have emotional stories in genre, right? I'm just like, this movie makes me believe in Hollywood again, basically. Like it's so refreshing that again, all of my favorite shit is genre shit, like Westworld and like Dune, like stuff that's like so beyond realism, but it still has human elements, and that's always my favorite shit. And this is exactly that. And I just it's hasn't made its budget back yet, but it's a low budget, so hopefully it can get there, especially with like word of mouth and stuff. It's just exceptional. It's an exceptional piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I desperate. There are other movies that I haven't seen. There are movies I want to see again, but I'm like, this is the one that like, if I don't see a new movie, this is the one I will see again.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very, very. Just like we could go around the horn. I think talking about so many things that we love about, so many favorite moments. There's a ton. It's an endless stream of just wonderful, wonderful things.
Yeah.
But I think we've analyzed like the heart of why the film is so well grounded. I think there's something very I do want to highlight, because I don't think we gave this quite as much attention, the evolution of her perception of Jamie Lee Curtis's character Deirdre.
Oh yes.
and the way that they interact with each other. I think there is something beautiful about the moment of
I just talked to him.
But both for Waymond being able to solve it when she says my silly husband probably screwing things up and he actually fixes it, which is wonderful, but also the humanization of Deirdre, where she says he told me what's actually happening. I remember when I was going through my divorce, and makes her also a person to her, which at that point it had not come clear. And the fact that like all of those elements are allowed to like really be present.
And there was a verse where like
wonderful
where they're like together.
Yes, the hot dog finger.
It's beautiful. It's really cute.
The hot dog finger one, having the two of them together. The hot dog fingers apparently seem to be just an aphrodisiac to people, and have no other purpose other than sexual.
Well, I mean, have you looked at them?
The hot dog one. Yeah, it's weird because there's hot dog fingers, but at the same time, like when Evelyn comes home and she stops playing, she's like, no, keep playing. I love it when you play. And she's playing the piano and you see them and you see him just like, I know the feet's weird, but at the same time.
No, okay. Real quick though. The fact that like she's playing it with her feet and her left foot still has to have the brace on it.
Yeah.
Because that kind of it's that kind of like thinking that shows like, God damn, they really they think about everything.
Yeah.
They think about every beat of these characters.
That is really cool. I did like that. But besides Jamie Lee Curtis playing the piano with her feet, just everything them going through their relations, like because there was a scene looked like where Jamie Lee Curtis was leaving, like Michelle or Evelyn was like, I'm done, but they reconciled again.
I'm sorry, Ben. You said besides the feet. I'm talking about that as a highlight, not a detractor. I think that's a very funny moment that works in that moment.
It is because they keep.
You said besides the feet thing, as if I was implying that I did not mean it to be a positive.
We're pro feet.
We're pro feet here on this podcast.
No, I'm really
okay.
not.
I don't want to get that stamp on this podcast.
Stamp it.
No,
I think we already got the stamp for this one. The sanctum of the bagel.
No, I thought it was the cannonball butt plug.
The cannonball butt plug is pretty good.
The thoughtfulness of how the versing works and the visualization, the weird things they do, like make your hands like this to see the bagel.
Yeah, to like open
things
your
like
eye,
that.
yeah.
Just such creative visualization from top to bottom. I truly like. Again, we could praise everything about this movie. At this point, if you've listened this far and you haven't seen it, like it's something you just kind of have to experience for yourself.
And again, I still think, honestly, like we didn't even do it justice. Like this movie is too good. It is that good. Like Elden Ring, Everything Everywhere All at Once. End of the year. Sorry.
One of the things about this, like us analyzing this film, one of the things it keeps bringing me back to the title about how we're talking about Evelyn, we're talking about Joy, especially Joy. And how it's like, man, you can easily say she's everything everywhere all at once because it's so true throughout the entirety of the film.
Yeah. Do rocks multiply?
You smash them,
then
they do.
You're thinking about it too much. They don't want you to think about it that much.
I got chills.
Okay, speaking of which, I love it when she turns around as the rock.
The rock turns around and runs away.
And
it's very funny. Moving.
Yeah. We didn't highlight it quite too much. We did talk about how great the editing is, but the way they do the sequence when all of it starts happening, which is Evelyn going between the janitor closet in one verse and sitting in the meeting. Yeah. The way it starts and the like turning of the head and the swapping of places and all that, and like the bit where they're in the janitor closet and Deirdre like rises up because she's intervening into the verse, but she's not really there. Like all of that is so good. The way they do that in a couple of moments where like something from one verse that's actually happening to Evelyn is pulling her away from the verse she's visiting. Also good.
I can't. Like it is definitely like a small movie, but I just can't believe like the budget is so low. Just because I know how much movies cost these days, even normal movies without special effects cost more than this. It's just like it's just incredible.
So the interesting thing that I just put together, because you talked about how like she turns her head and she's in a different verse. One of the things that I think is really cool is that when Waymond and her are in the janitor closet, he says that this is kind of a meeting dimension, like it's not really another verse, and we see that verse be created because he says like because he says later in the movie, every decision you make creates another universe where you made a different decision, and that's why he picks her, because she picked all the wrong decisions to get her to that place, and so like he's purposefully created a universe to have a meeting with her in.
Right.
I think that's a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
All he had to do was give himself a paper cut.
But she was picked because she picked every wrong choice.
She's the
in
worst
her whole
Evelyn
life
in the multiverse.
She's the
But
worst
by
Evelyn.
being the worst, she gets to be the best.
I love that concept of just like you're the worst Evelyn in the whole multiverse. You're
Billion
the
of them.
worst. You're the
You're the
worst
worst.
one.
You're the reason. It's very good.
Really good like commentary on just like, it's kind of what I used to like about Doctor Who, which is an interesting comparison. But like the companions of Doctor Who used to be nobodies, and then like he would whisk them off into an adventure. Like it's that kind of thing of like, yeah, your life seems terrible, but you're actually destined for more.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Should I rate it?
10.
Yeah, I
If
think
could
we're all
give it
10.
11, I would.
I mean, let's be honest, it's a 10 for me.
Yeah, 10.
All right. 10 across the boards. 4 10s. 40 out of 40.
40 out of 40. That's
Perfect. A perfect 40. What was the last movie to get a perfect 40 from all four of us? Spider-Man? Oh, Batman.
Was it the Batman?
Oh, I give Batman a 9.5. No, I give Spider-Man a 10. It was Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man then, yeah. Mac also gives it a 10, which makes it 50. 50 out of 50.
40. Put that on the DVD cover, baby. Give it to
50
us.
out of 40.
Brandon, I'm so glad you're joining us at a 10. That's all.
Of course, I love this movie. Nothing bad to say about it. Okay. And I was thinking, to be fair, I was thinking like a 9 when I was in the shower this morning, and I was just like, I have nothing bad.
Yeah, I was even trying to be like, is there anything to be critical on? And if I saw it a second time, maybe, but like, no, perfect.
And it's kind of like what you said, Sparks, about a movie. Gee Willikers, Bill and Ted. You talked about Bill and Ted. Like, I cannot think of anything. This did exactly. You were very positive on Bill and Ted. I feel the same way here, where it's just like there's just nothing wrong with it as far as I can see. So it's got to be a 10.
Right.
All right. Shall we do a book club?
Shall we book it, Dano?
All right. Whose turn is it? Ryan.
It's me.
Take it away.
Hey, guys. Moon Knight is the current MCU offering on Disney+, so I thought, let's read a Moon Knight comic, but I wanted to read one that I haven't read, which is not that many. So I picked Vengeance of the Moon Knight. Came out in 2010, written by Greg Hurwitz and art by Jerome Pena and colors by Dan Brown. This takes place in my favorite era of Marvel, when Normie Osborn is a big bad boy. He's leading Hammer.
Those are specifically for the first 6 issues.
For the first 6 issues. Yes. Yeah. Then it's some for the last 4, yes. Yeah. But this is a period where Norman Osborn is leading the evil Avengers. Mark Spector, Norman Osborn put a hit out on Mark Spector. So Mark Spector, he faked his death. Then he went to Mexico, and now he's Jake Lockley. So Mark Spector is quote-unquote dead, and he's just been being Jake Lockley. So now he comes back to New York. He's like, I hate Norman Osborn. So he comes, and he lands in New York in a giant egg, and he just crashes into the city, and he's like, I'm back, baby. Let's get real. So Norman Osborn is like, I don't like you and I want to kill you. So he hires some bad men. He resurrects his nemesis, and there's some pretty good art and some violence. What do you guys think about this book?
But Ben, go ahead.
I had a blast with this book. It was nice to read. It was nice to read a Moon Knight run that I wasn't familiar with like at all. And of course, I'm like, they're talking about Jake. I'm like, but wait, who's Jake? I know about Mark and Steven, but who's? And then the more I started reading about it, I'm like, okay, I think I understand what's going on. And also, my favorite thing about this book is how Moon Knight, Jake / Mark, is constantly telling himself he's no longer a killer. He's not going to hurt anyone.
It's Jake. It's not Jake / Mark. Mark is what we see in the Moon Knight show where Mark is hiding in Steven. This is Mark is hiding in Jake.
All right.
So it's Jake. It is Jake.
Yeah. Right. So with Jake's constantly telling himself he's not a killer, and even like the first book when those cops are like, he's like, you're in trouble. It's like, yo, they're just disgruntled and they're fine. They're just not happy.
You like little baby Khonshu, little angry Khonshu.
I do
like the concept of Khonshu getting bigger as he's not being fed.
you brought it up, and it made me sad that it's not happening in the show. I'm like, I want Tiny Khonshu that he can like flick away.
The second I saw him like in his car's like baby, and he flicks, I'm like, oh man, we missed it. Oh, it's so good.
But he gets.
I love Khonshu like shouting up from cockroaches, like being like, "F you, kill somebody."
But at the end of the book, he's massive. He's kaiju sized.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he's like,
he's
can't
pissed.
run away from me.
I just love the idea that like, of course he's just a god that's showing up for him. Of course he doesn't have to show up in the same way or same size all the time. Like what are we doing?
And again, like every Moon Knight comic like handles Khonshu and handles Mark and Jake and Steven in a different way. So like this interpretation is really fun. Like Jake, it doesn't really get to be like the lead alter like ever. So like I'm glad I read this book because like he's usually just like a dude talking to Crowley on the streets, which is what he does in this book too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So this book, I don't think there's like. I don't think it's like the greatest book ever made. I just think it's a really fun, good Moon Knight comic. Like it's just kind of straightforward. Like Raoul Bushman is just like he's the worst guy on the planet. Like he is what Mark Spector did not want to become, and luckily he didn't. Now you guys know the story of like who Raoul is. He's terrible. Moon Knight cut his face off. Moon Knight likes to cut faces off. He doesn't like to do it anymore though. Ask Taskmaster.
I will say that like the only thing that I think this is a fun read. I think it's like, it's cool to have like a Jake focused Moon Knight read like this. The only thing that I kind of was like, yeah, all right, was gathering like the army of the asylum folk. Yeah. Because like by the time you get to the next issue, like we go through them so quickly, like they're just cannon fodder. Yeah, I'm like, I would rather just like watch this gang of like the 5 main guys.
Yeah, I see.
Just be like character focused against Jake.
That's fair.
Rather than just like many panels of him dispatching in various ways different asylum folk.
That's totally.
Like they just didn't. I don't think like having the army did anything because it's not like it put him in a disadvantage. He seemed to just clean up through them anyway.
That's true. I guess like you need mindless action and to like make the book
for sure. I just like because we did have like those specific 5 dudes. If it had just been Bushman and then an army, I'd feel differently. It's the fact that we were like, hey, there's like these 5 dudes. Like we could focus on these dudes for our fight stuff and actually explore stuff with them.
That's absolutely fair. Yeah, I think the art. So Daniel Cunha, he does my favorite X-Men run. He does X-Force with Rick Remender. That's the run he did after this book. I think his art is really good in this book, but it's really Uncanny X-Force that like elevates him. But still, I think the art in this book is incredible. Jerome Pena does something with eyes. Can you show this? Is it going to work? He does something with eyes that no other artist does as well. He has the soul and sad eyes better than any other artist alive. He does that so much with X-Force characters. But I think the art's really great. I think his violence is pretty remarkable. I think there's a flashback scene with Frenchie looking in a mirror and he sees his war self and like the person he used to be, like the murderer he used to be. There's a lot of really good small emotional scenes. Oh my god, there's a great moment. Oh my god! So
you and I screen cap
the Spider-Man one.
Yeah.
So Moon Knight is talking to Spider-Man, and Moon Knight's like, "So Spider-Man, what makes you better than me?" And Spider-Man's like, "Discipline, ethics, a code." So Moon Knight's like, "Yeah, how's that working for you?" And Spider-Man is under a billboard of the dark, evil Avengers, and Spider-Man's like, "Yeah, you're right." Really good. I thought that was really, really strong.
Yeah, I love that beat. That was one of my favorite beats in the whole thing.
I love Moon Knight's outfit in this one. I think it's real cool.
There's a line in the beginning that we kind of glossed over that I want to highlight where after Moon Knight takes out those bank robbers, the police are like the police dude who's there is like, get after him, we got to arrest him. It's like, he didn't kill anybody. What? He maimed someone. No, they're fine.
Yeah, Ben kind of alluded to that earlier. That is the core that I do really like about the story is like Mark Spector, like they don't talk about it in the show too much yet. Mark Spector did some horrible shit. He was a bad person. He was with Raoul doing bad stuff until the point he couldn't do it anymore, right? So like the fact that he's like, I'm not a killer, but Khonshu's like, no, I know who you are. I've been here from the beginning. I know exactly who you are, but he keeps fighting him the entire time. That's the core of the story that I absolutely love. But Khonshu keeps getting bigger because he knows. And it is a shame that this run has to end. But we do get Secret Avengers, which ends up being pretty all right.
On that note, did anyone read 7, 8, 9, and 10?
No.
Okay.
That's okay.
We weren't supposed to, but it's okay. You don't need to look sad.
No, yeah, you're fine.
I do want to highlight some stuff that's fun about them.
About the Secret Avengers.
Them?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a Deadpool stuff between Moon Knight and Deadpool, and Deadpool's trying to kill someone, and Moon Knight's not going to let him. And
it's awesome because Deadpool's trying to kill a really bad person, but Moon Knight's trying to stop him. So Deadpool's like, "You're gonna let me? You're not gonna? You're gonna let me?" Sorry, you do better. Sorry, I love it.
So Deadpool's like, "How are you not gonna let me do this? This is a piece of shit. Like, you should be agreeing with this."
Yeah.
And so it gets. But what's really special about it, what I really liked about it, is that Moon Knight doesn't know that Deadpool can't be killed, so he's still doing a lot of his holding back stuff. And then Deadpool opens his mouth and lets it slip. Like, he's like, I see, like, you're pulling your punches with all these other people, but you'll use your powers on me. What's up with that? Why won't you go after this dude yourself? And then he's like, you're just pulling it out on me because I got the healing factor, so I can't die. And he's like, wait, what? And Deadpool's like, I can't. Oh shit!
Oh no! And then Mark
Moon Knight like just
destroys him, and he walks out going, "That was really nice.
Yeah,
I needed that. It's so good." He's fighting Deadpool in like a carnival maze, and he's like, "Dude, this evil guy and his henchmen killed children, and you let them live?" And he's like, "Not my call to make." And Deadpool's like, "Who are you, Daredevil? I thought you loved killing people." And he's like, "I'm trying to be a better person."
Yeah. There's also another story. So like the first 2 issues are about Moon Knight and Deadpool. Then the issue after that is a Spider-Man Moon Knight mission, which is actually a lot of fun. There's a lot of good gags with Frenchie.
Oh, it's a Sandman issue.
It's Moon Knight and Spider-Man going after Sandman. Sandman goes into a museum, and you get this really excellent panel of
gorgeous.
Sandman hiding in the safari zone of the museum.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Under them.
So it's not James Stocco, but it's very similar to James Stocco art. Like this was really, really great issue.
And then the last issue is actually the prelude to the Secret Avengers that we read last year, guys.
With Shang-Chi.
Where Moon Knight was there for the Shang-Chi comic. It's how Moon Knight gets on that team.
That was a lot of fun.
Cool.
A lot of really great like splash pages of like, here's the team kicking ass, and Moon Knight's also here. Like, I love it.
In a black Moon Knight suit.
Oh, he's in a
stealth suit.
He has a stealth suit, which I don't remember ever seeing. And I'm like, oh, that's hella sick. Very glad I read this run. It was only 10 issues, but Greg Hurwitz is a guy who like he does a lot of TV stuff now, but like he's done some DC stuff, and like I think he's a pretty good Moon Knight writer. This was again like 12 years ago, so it's like it's a little dated with some of the stuff, but I think it was a pretty solid Moon Knight run. And now you guys have read some more Moon Knight.
Yeah, there's some things I wanted to bring up real quickly.
Go for it, please.
The Khonshu getting bigger throughout the 6 issues is really interesting to me, because Jake is trying not to be a killer, trying to kind of reform the identity of Moon Knight, and he has this devil on his shoulder telling him, "No, you got to kill, you got to kill." And Khonshu wants him to kill because it will feed him. That gives Khonshu his power. It keeps him small, essentially. And so as he is getting hungry for this murder that Jake is not doing, he keeps getting bigger and becoming more of a nuisance to Jake until finally he's just this giant kaiju that Jake just can't ignore anymore. I thought that was a cool way to do Khonshu. I know we kind of talked about that already, but
I agree. I love his design in this too.
I think you're very right that he's like a visual representation of the desire growing,
because like Mark feels it too. He's fighting himself. One of my favorite interactions, it's Khonshu's still small. He's like, "You are nothing. You're not special. I made you, and I can make another 10. What's his name? The Punisher? Why can't you be more like him? I bet his god is well fed." It's like, Frank doesn't have a god, you idiot.
Yeah, that's
so good. He thinks the Punisher has a god. I love it.
And then the other thing is we talked about it on our Moon Knight episode. So kind of this could be good pairing with that. We talked a bit about how in the show it's a little bit alluding to the fact that perhaps Mark killed Lila's dad, and I wonder if it will be because she says that Bushman killed Maria, right? Maria's dad, Marlene's dad, and Mark. I wonder if we're going to be, if that's in fact the case.
Brandon, I almost screenshotted that thing exactly too, saying, "Oh, so that thing you were talking about in the Moon Knight episode." Like after reading this, I'm like, "Oh, they can easily just come
yeah, I wonder. I kind of now more feel reinforced that's kind of the direction we're going in.
And now that you guys met Marlene, that's just a blonde character. Not a lot really going on there too much. So like Layla is infinitely more cool.
Yeah, I definitely like Layla more than Marlene.
Yeah. All right. Yay, Moon Knight.
All right. So it'll be my turn next time. So we're going to be skipping next week. Lots going on. So we're just going to skip next week and we'll come back the week after. And it'll be my turn at that point. I'm choosing Demon Days by Peach Momoko. This currently only exists as 5 one-shots, so I will tell you which one-shots to have. The trade paperback is not out till November, so I'm kind of getting ahead of the curve.
But it is on Marvel Unlimited.
But they are all on Marvel Unlimited. So I will tell you, I will give you like the one-shots, the order of it on Instagram. So stay tuned for that. Also read King of Black #4, the backup, just the backup, because it's really good. It's got Demon Days Emma Frost. Gotta read that.
Okay.
All right, so that'll do it.
Love it. Love it. Lots more of it.
Like I said, the trade is going to have Electra #4. Electra Black, White, and Blood has a Peach Momoko Demon Days Electra story. So, and that'll be collected in the trade when that comes out, but that's not out yet, so don't worry about that. All right. Next time, I don't know what we're going to be talking about. Probably Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, but we'll talk about Northman's also coming out that weekend, the weekend before. So
that's oof. I want to see both those. I want to see the Northman way.
Look, we can always make a review special.
We could. Yeah.
Okay. So just stay tuned. We'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for us. Thank you guys. You can, of course, like this video and subscribe to this channel. You can get all sorts of cool stuff from us, such as Fake Nerds Watch. Talked a little bit about it earlier, but there is a Moon Knight Fake Nerds Watch series happening at right now. At the same time, there's a Star Trek Picard series I'm doing with right now just Cookie from Just a Little Podcast, because he and I are the only two liking the show, because Mike does not like it. So those, what?
I said bummer.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer for us as well. But the show speaks to me in a way that it because of how it's dealing with depression and anxiety. And there's a line where it's just like, someone was like, "Oh, so there was no monster chasing her." I was like, "No, there was. There always is a monster chasing this person, because that's what depression is." It's speaking to me on a level that no Star Trek has before. I adore it. I almost cried the latest episode.
Love it.
Like talking about it, the latest episode of Fake Nerds Watch. So both of those Fake Nerds Watch series are available. Check them out. Basement Arcade, which are a video game series, and Basement Arcade Pause Mini, which are a video game discussion series. You can find those. Fake Nerd Book Club, which are a comic book series, a comic book discussion series, and our Animation Station, which is an animation discussion series. All of those can be found on this channel. Again, like this video, subscribe to this channel. You can check out some of our masks. We got a Fake Nerd Podcast mask from Captured by Z. That's still linked below.
Bye, Grayson. Thank you.
Oh, Ben, if you want to bring up Grayson's goodbye for the world to see. Thanks for the show. Have a great night. You too, sir. You can check out our Patreon. Subscribe to our Patreon if you'd like. You can also support us through TeePublic, buying some of our merchandise. We greatly appreciate all you do for us.
IRTP.
You can also with TP. We don't have toilet paper yet.
We have TeePublic.
Oh yeah. We'll get toilet paper. Don't worry.
Brandon,
yeah.
Please. Nobody needs to be wiping their butt on Ben's face saying, "Don't be a dick."
Yes, they do. And I've got the prototype right here. You can find all these links below and on our website at fakenerdpodcast.com.
What are you doing?
I was trying to help you cover it.
I also updated my blog. This is you tickle the Pillsbury Doughboy over there. I also updated my blog recently if you guys want to check that out on that same website. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mag. Take care as well. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who watches the rewind. Thank you to everyone who watches the live show. Greatly appreciate all of your support just through there. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci for our theme music that you've all heard tonight. You've heard all of his music tonight, and you've
Jeremy Vellucci, my future roommate.
Your future roommate.
Oh my god!
Weird.
It is.
God, everyone's just gonna live in that house eventually, Sam. Sparks.
Hell yeah.
Who?
It's been a while.
Find all of our. He did all of our things, all of our intros.
Sam is our extra editor that we hire sometimes. How about it?
Yeah,
Definitely.
You can find Jeremy Vellucci's Instagram at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards, or you can find his podcast, Suburban Proctologist, on iTunes, or facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official, or Instagram at Subproc Podcast. Thank you to Mike Matola, TikTok sensation Mike Matola. You can find him on Instagram and TikTok, asking if his nose looks like a Ninja Turtle.
Yes.
I saw that one.
And it does. You can find him at Mike Batola. We are also on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. I also write for Screen Rant. I have a series of revisiting the Infinity Saga on Atomic Geekdom. I also edit for KaijuRamenMedia.com. Ben?
You can find me still staying up way too late at BenMagnet27 on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and streaming at twitch.tv/BenMagnet27. Although, to be perfectly honest, I might cancel the next upcoming stream because your boy got a thing to write, and I am way too tired to write that tonight. And also, I write for Fusion Gaming Magazine, Old School Gamer Magazine, and GoNintendo.com.
Ryan?
You can find me either planning out watching 700 Naruto episodes or just 107 Riverdale episodes at DJ Tony Snark for the future.
Sparks?
You can find me nowhere doing nothing at different times at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
That's the sequel we need.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Podcasts, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. And until next time we see us, guys, stay fake nerds.
Cannonball butt plug.